Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting empty up the crack and we stacking chips, all of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated public sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced, leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call it truth. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, August 17th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Giant night last night. Capping was excellent. What a fucking roller coaster capping is. We talk about it being a cruel mistress. You know, I just took a fucking beating in CFL this past weekend, and it threw me for a loop. I felt like I'd been seeing things clearly, and I just got killed. 0-6, and dented the bankroll, and took 48 hours off. I didn't bet on Monday, and there was some, Alcantara. There was a couple spots that were kind of gifts, and I was like, "Fuck, I should have got involved." And then sweep the board yesterday. I don't really count it as sweep because there was a push involved, but 5-0 plus 5.2 units. Marlins first 5 cash at plus 120. San Diego, Miami first 5 under 4 cash. Boston, Pittsburgh under 8.5 cashed. Tampa Bay, New York first 5 under 4 pushed. The full game ended 3-1. I should have gone full game. I don't know why I didn't. I really have no idea what I was thinking. We know how good those two bullpens have been. It was just just poor bet. Brewers first 3 and first 5. I waited as long as I really felt comfortable waiting till about 20-25 minutes before the game started. And the line did get better slightly for me, but not enough. It was just clearly the sharp side there. Brewers first 3 was minus 135. First 5 was minus 130. So we've been here before. I hit the high water mark, which isn't that high on the year. I'm just 12.05 units up on the year, 244 and 213, 53.4%. ROI plus 2.64%, average line minus 108. But we've been here. We've gotten up to double digits, and we've fallen back. And so I'm just not going to let's stop with no need for let's step it up now. Let's step it up. We've been in this situation before, and we haven't taken things to the next level. Let's stop with the fucking ass slapping, and let's cap this card to the best of our abilities. We have our guy Nolly Knows joining us here, the Jedi Master of Unders. He's now being called by my man Kiprios. He's being called the Underachiever. He also said the Underwearer, but I think that was reaching a little bit. I don't know if the underwear is really a tag that we want to give our man Nolly Knows. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Let's get to work. Viper MB in the house says, "What up, fam? We are rolling and eating. Phillies first 5 minus a half and Mets first 5 minus a half locked in so far." Professor Chris in the house right here. Let me lock in Vipes action here, and so we can discuss it. There we go. And WT in the house. Oh, God, you start to make me jealous now. Starting to make me jealous. Maybe want to go back to Costa Rica. Look at our guy, Rob Free, hit another 6-teamer yesterday. 3rd one this month. Cards and Cubs had me sweat them wins out next year. So, that's part of the fun. Nice work, Rob. I love hearing that. MDR24 says, "Love me some Orioles the last few weeks." And there is the taint play of the day. Fresh off an easy winner yesterday. Taint play of the day is in Matty Ice, Cleveland, minus 1.5, a minus 105. Taint is in. Copy and paste that right here and lock it in. All right, let's keep rolling. Ronnie Imbergia giving a shout out to Rob Free, richly deserved. There's J Dub in the house. LJ from H-Town, another winning day yesterday. Jay Peasy shouting out Taint. Professor Chris says Orioles have been great. I had them on the money line last night for plus 190. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. There is Joe Yurkovich says, why not Cincy full game? And interesting. Phillies first 5 months. There was 2 spots. The Phillies first 5, and why not Phillies full game? Why not Cincinnati full game? I agree. The Cincinnati's bullpen's been so much better than the Phillies bullpen of late. But I was going to move on Suarez as well. There was 2 spots I was going to move on. I was going to move on Suarez, and I was going to move on Cole Ragans and the Texas Rangers. And both sides have clear, sharp action on the other side. So just do what I did yesterday. Leave that shit alone. Cap the car with you guys and figure out how to get paid together. That's the plan. So I'm not on that, but I can see why you were on it. There's Joe Free, Nut Flush Allen, serious business in the house. We got Von Polo. God, it's so wonderful to have Von Polo back in action. Says, I'm here after a great day yesterday. Says, preseason football's made me the most money I had in a while. Love hearing that. Von Polo come to us from Charm City. Joe Yurkovich 4-0 this in the NFL preseason. I'm 2-1. I'll take that. There's Nasty Nate back from Myrtle Beach, back from a family vacay, ready to get to work. Thank you, Joe. I love what Jose is doing. I love the editing that's going on. Jose's just a hell of a producer. I'm very thankful to work with him. And then we get Jay Peasy's lyrics, his bars in the background. It's how can we go wrong? Rob Free says, I'll post my 6-leg on Twitter in a little while. Very confident hits that. I screwed up. I meant to follow you, Rob, on Twitter, and then I couldn't find you. I know I copied and pasted on one of my days, but I went through it. Can you hit me with it again so I can post it in the chat, and then we can all follow you? I remember there was an 18 in it. I thought there was an 18. I thought it was like Rob Free 18. And then I couldn't find it, and I hope it's 18 because that's my favorite number. 18. Igor Larionov wore 18. My daughter is born on the 18th of August. Her 5th birthday is tomorrow, and I'm pumped for her birthday. We're gonna do it up nice. Actually, her birthday party's on Sunday. Going to a Jump City. Gonna do it up big at Jump City. Leonard Porsche, thank you, my man. William Oppenheimer, driving to Atlantic City right now. Let's fucking go. Oh, I love it, Will. Drive safe and get that fucking money. Get that fucking money. There's Dennis Garcia in the house. Dennis Garcia, I love his angles. We all work together, but Dennis, his angles, and he lets us know way ahead of time. So he's been fading the Toronto Blue Jays every game. And God damn, has it been working? And Blue Jays probably don't make the playoffs. It's funny because can you imagine the idiocy of our management? We're now in a situation where we're hitting. Look at the Blue Jays right now. The Blue Jays are hitting fine. I mean, they're not ripping the leather off the ball, but they're top 10 against righties, let's say, in the last 30 days, 268, 741 OPS. Their bullpen the last 30 days, 2.48 ERA, 1.21 WHIP. How on God's earth? I don't know God's earth, but how on earth could you possibly not be winning games when your bullpen is 2.48 ERA, 1.21 WHIP? You're hitting 740 plus OPS. It's brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff from our Dennis Garcia. And Billy Friedrich says, how about the White Sox momentum? Another comeback win late. Jose and I were discussing that. We were discussing that last night. And my note to it was just, look, the White Sox have been there. They've been there and done that. And I think that will show down the stretch, and I think I'm going to get paid out. JP says, the Dodgers almost did it. Woodruff, sorry. As long as I don't bet on him, I know that now. Woodruff sucks as long as I don't bet on him. Sorry. I know that. I get it, JPZ. Look, I was the first 3 I cashed very easily. The first 5 I needed that bottom of the 5th. So, okay, deals there. Woodruff deals as long as I don't bet on him. I know that now. It was a tough spot for you guys. There's MDR24. 5011 is a sweep, says MDR24. Thank you. I don't know if it's if it's board sweepage, but I do like it. Gas report cashed a 4-teamer. Saturated says I got ruined by 2 first 5 under 3.5. So I hate my book for not offering 4s. Kids, don't be lazy and use the book that offers the best numbers. That's good. Very helpful. Very helpful advice. The Undertaker, says William Overnight. That is a good name for him. Hey, if it's working. Bob Free says the Red Sox was the easiest money of the day yesterday. Fade the Pirates after a day off, please. You're right. You gave us that stat, 2-13, now 2-14, and help me get off of it. There's my guy Franco White in the house. Let's get paid in full. Franco, North Ender, 12-7. Day plus 4.34 units. That's so much action, North Ender. You must have enjoyed the day immensely. The last day I don't think I've had 19 bets on a day maybe ever. I did have 17 this year, and it went poorly for me. I had 15 twice, and those were fine. There's Rob Free saying, since he could be down too much after 5 innings, risk not worth the reward, says Rob Free. We're going to talk all about that. All right, Jason M., great to see you, my guy. Yes, let's get paid. Joe, he's got a lot of time to come back and we're not there. It is free 18 Rob. Okay, there it is. I knew my favorite number was in it. Let's all free 18 Rob. There we go. Let's all follow our guy Rob. Let's get he's been a big part of the Low Bag fam. Let's build up his Twitter following and support right back to our guy Rob Free. I am following now. Slat says sweeps for Jimmy and Taint Cashes. Says when Matty Ice talks Tigers, you gotta listen. He's absolutely right. Absolutely right. Gas report Rob McMahon. Ick Schnizzle says Jim, I hope I had a good day today, especially hanging with the boys in the Contender Series, making some money with them. Let's have a day and happy birthday. I hope you had a great birthday for Kian. Ick Schnizzle took Kian to Chuck E. Cheese. To old Charles Cheese to celebrate. I hope it was a great. I know it's a great day. You're such a great dad, and it must be so much fun to hang out with you in an arcade. I do my best to be a lot of fun in an arcade as well. Great to see all you guys. Okay, we talked about announcements, so we are heavy on announcements. And yesterday we announced our contest. So we have the Cappers contest, $100 entry fee. If you get a second, if you could pop those up, there's our $100 entry fee, 5 NFL picks. Now it looks like $3 if you use PayPal. We're going to figure out the credit card cost is taken off. That we don't get. So, but every cent that comes in is going to go into the prizes, except for the costs of the money moving in. So every cent will go right back into the contest. So there's the survivor pool, and we talked about announcements every day, and some of them I was like, I want to have thumbnails for them, but it's Wednesday, August 17th. We're moving, so I'm just going to talk some announcements here right off the hop, and we are going to save most of the NFL stuff. Other than Jose and I will have our own show every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern, where we discuss the Cappers contest, who's winning in the Cappers contest. That's going to be right after my show here on Thursdays, and we have an entry in the Circa Millions. We have a Circa Millions entry, $1,500. Slaughter's entering it for us. And we will decide together as a group which 5 bets to make. And again, if we succeed there, we party. We party very hard. So that's going on. Then, so a couple announcements, and we're going to have thumbnails for all these very soon. College football is right around the corner. Our first college football show is this Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And again, it stars last year's stars. It stars C-Mac and Babano. Monday at 2 p.m. And it'll be every Monday at 2 p.m. Then on Saturday mornings, we'll have our NCAA football pub hub. Our NCAA football pub hub will be Babano and C-Mac again with the Big Ragu and DJ Big Boss. The 4 of them will be capping all the games on Saturday before kickoff. Here comes the major news. I told you we want to move into a different direction this year with football season, and there's a ton of differences happening. We talked about the contests. This is the direction. We want to focus on live betting. We want to watch these games with you, and we want to get that fucking cash. We're working on graphics so that when the bet is made, it pops up on the screen. And my local doesn't allow live bets because he's being scammed. So we're using the books, and we have deals on a few books and whatever. We'll go into all that stuff. So when the ticket is placed at the book, we're going to show it on the screen. So non-stop live betting action. And the thumbnails are so close to being done. Our first one and our college football live betting action will be hosted by none other than Dabby Cab. Dabby Cab will be our host for live college football betting action. Our first game is 10 days from now, because after every Saturday NCAA football pub hub, there's going to be a live game right after, hosted by Dabby Cab. And the first one's Nebraska Cornhuskers at Northwestern Wildcats. So NCAA football will be every Saturday, right at 12 after the NCAA Pub Hub show, our live betting. And we have more news for college football that I will be delivering soon. But just for starters, every Saturday at 12 p.m. Now, NFL, we are going to be going live as well. We're going to be going live in NFL. And I'm very excited to announce that I get to host every Sunday night and every Monday night. And I'll bring on guests, and we will live bet Sunday night football and Monday night football together every fucking night all year long. God, I'm going to have bottles of crap. I'm going to be, ooh, god damn. It's going to be live, and I want to make some fucking money. And we're going to be live betting together every Sunday night and Monday night. Thursday night football, you may ask, will be hosted by Dutch Boy Fresh. So, Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night, live betting action here on Pop Sports Radio. We hang out together, we drink together, and we get that fucking money together. It's pretty exciting. So we're going to have thumbnails to come, but the very first live bet stream, now I don't get started until Sunday, September 11th with Buccaneers, Dallas Cowboys. Dutchie has the first one because that's the Thursday nighter, September 8th, the Buffalo Bills, LA Rams. But the first one is Saturday, August 27th. It's 10 days from now. Nebraska Cornhuskers at Northwestern Wildcats. And we have huge games. Also, don't forget, on Sunday, September 4th and Monday, September 5th, there's college football games, one-offs. Florida State Seminoles, LSU Tigers on Sunday. Clemson Tigers at Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. We'll be live for those. So Dabby Cab will be live for those shows. So we're really, really, really excited about this season. We have contests against each other, live betting action, and it's just going to be fucking magic, man. It's and we better get that money or things go. Those of you who've seen me in live streams before, I get pretty emotionally attached when I start losing money, and the Kraken takes over and throws me into a fucking negative cycle of sadness. So let's try to. I know it's going to happen at some point, but let's try to mix it with. And there's Dabby Cab right there. We are so close to having our thumbnails done. We have like mock thumbnails that I don't even want to show right now. But our first one is Dabby Cab hosting Saturday, August 27th at 12:15 p.m. right after the NCAA Pub Hub Cornhuskers Wildcats. All right. There you go. Let's get back into MLB action right now. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. William says only positivity allowed on Friday. There are. Yes. Good. Thank you for mentioning that, because this Friday I will be hosting Cash at Fridays. We're starting at 5:45 p.m. So we can hammer the whole Delmar card, razor sharp on a vacation, and that's what you do after you pick up 20K and pick 6 winners in 1 week. You go on a vacation, you take your family to vacation. I don't tell my family about it at all, and I just try to increase my unit size. But Razor takes his family on vacation. All right, Johnny Gunn says I'll be going to the Cowboys-Chargers Saturday game to get my tailgating season started. So excited! I love that so much. Rand says Nebraska has a quarterback that can actually throw, might be a 500 team or close. Northander says I witnessed the high winning percentage firsthand, Dabby Cab. I wouldn't say it just because I like you. I love it. We're all fucking excited. So we're all going to be hanging together, hammering football, and I'll be drinking heavily. I love it. All right. And are you still doing NFL preview shows? Yes, Joe Yurkovich, every Tuesday night. we're going to be doing a big NFL preview show, but it's new. It's changed. It's new. So we're just holding off maybe about 48 hours before announcing our Tuesday night show at 8 p.m. Eastern because it's completely different from last year. All right, let's get to work. There's Fat Wally, Joe Yurkovich, Kenny V, Chief, North Ender, William Positivity. Friday. I respect that. I respect that very, very much. All right, let's go. Let's bring on the man who's been making unders great again, coming to us from Long Beach, California, the Jedi Master of unders. Please welcome Nolly Knows to the show. Nolly, how are you, my man?
I'm doing real well, Jimmy. Always excited to be here and cap the card with you, and excited to be here with the chat. What's going on, everybody? And let's find some unders. Let's go hunting.
Let's go hunting. And Danny Lopez says LBC in the house. Rand says tempted to try the circuit contest, like trying to win the lottery, or you could just do the circuit contest with us because it's being Slaughter's buying us in. Well, that's the cappers contest, but Slaughter's also buying us into the circuit. And Jose and I will host that show every Thursday, and we'll make those picks together. And that costs you $0. And we will let you guys lead the way. All right, Joe Yurkovich says the Phillies line has crashed. We do have the taint play of the day in, which we will discuss. And I get why I was going to move on Ranger Suarez, and I did not. This game pops off in an hour and 11 minutes. Let's get right to it. Philadelphia Phillies, 65-51, 33-25 on the road at Cincinnati Reds, 45-70, 25-36 at home. Lamont Williams, I'm excited. But you're right. My family knows this, though. September, October, November, December, leave me alone. That's the new deal with the fam here. 4 months, leave me alone. The rest of the year, anything you guys want. Okay, let's go. Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. Let's move on to the weather to get things started. At first pitch, 77 Fahrenheit, 5.8 miles per hour left to right. It grows to about 6.7, but stays left to right, slightly in. Let's go over to the line history in this spot. Suarez and Lodolo. We have the Phillies opening up at minus 155. At 4:37 this morning, they got up to minus 175. Now they're down to minus 160. That last move happened 11 minutes ago. From a total standpoint, open up at 8.5 juice to the over. It's now 8.5 juice to the under. So that's being a minus 120 to the over, now minus 120 to the under. And let's go over to the cash flow. And now look at this. So before, the Reds had 60% line value. That has changed. I guess the lineups were announced, and we will go over them. Now the Reds have full line value. 12,773 tickets in. Let's discuss this lineup for the Reds. India, Fraley, Farmer, Reynolds, Almora, Aquino, Lopez, Barrero, Romine. For the Phillies, Segura, Hoskins, Bohm, Realmuto, Castellanos, Sosa, Derek Hall, Vierling, and Maton. Okay, so Suarez, 8-5, 3.52 ERA, 1.32 WHIP. He's completely turned his season around. His last start, 2-1 extra inning win at the Mets. He was excellent. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run. And on the road, he's been very, very good. 6-1, 2.69 ERA, 227 opponents. Batting average would make me want to bet him, which is my plan was to bet him. Nick Lodolo on the other side got hurt in his last start. It was at home where he's been decent. 3-2, 3.50 ERA, 282 opponents batting average. But look at this. The Phillies are destroying lefties over their last 30 days. 319 average, 881 OPS. The Reds don't hit them. 228, 682 OPS. Where is the angle for the Reds? Where do they? It's only in the bullpen right now. 3.17 ERA, 1.24 WHIP over the last 30 days, where the Phillies bullpen's been terrible. 4.80 ERA, 1.38 WHIP. The market got me off this look. Let's see what Nolly is doing. 12:35 p.m. Nolly pops off in an hour and 8 minutes. Take it away, Phillies Reds.
Oh man, this game is interesting for me because I'm on the West Coast, so I love baseball for breakfast. That's one of my favorite things, And I look at this game and the way that these teams are really what they're not doing is hitting the ball. You look over the last 7 days, Phillies only averaging 3 runs a game, averaging a 367 slugging, which is not what they do. Cincinnati on the other side, even worse, 3.3 runs a game, 307 on base, 350 slugging, and you mentioned it, their bullpen has looked a lot better, but here in the Cincinnati ballpark, not really where I like to get involved, but obviously ultimately not not as profitable as you might think to the over, just 53.5%. So you're barely cashing on the over there, 31-27 in Cincinnati. So really their inability to hit has failed to get those games to go over. I'd expect Ranger Suarez to have a really strong outing here in this matchup, but the question mark is Nick Lodolo. You know, sometimes he does come in and shut it down, and that's the thing. That's why I can understand why maybe you back him on a bounce back spot here. Did get lit up against Chicago though, but I mean, for me personally, I just can't get involved. I want to, but Nick Lodolo, big question mark, and I don't know. I'm just a little hesitant with these two teams. Philly's lack of defense, and then Cincinnati's lack of pitching at the end. So,
yeah, I get it. I completely get it. You have a situation here with 12,773 tickets in, 89% of the tickets, but 82% of the cash on the Phillies, 11% of the tickets, 18% of the cash on the Reds, and the market's moving back to the Reds. Then you have 53% of tickets and 91% of cash on the over, and yet there's been this move towards the under. That makes me very uncomfortable. John Todd, coming off a big day, says Phillies game under first 5. North Ender says this is a pass. Rand says tricky game, first 5 under might hit. Professor Chris, bet the Phils. Minus 165 and run line plus 100. Trenton Claxton, I know you've been cashing, my man, and I've been watching. Respect. So I get it. This all doesn't correlate in a way that I'm comfortable with, and I do not want to move on it either. But no fear, more afternoon action to come. So we move past this. Joe Yurkovich is on Philly, Cincinnati, first 5 under 4.5 at minus 125. I guess if you were to look at this from if you just focus solely on the market here, you have 91% of tickets on the over and the under is being juiced. So they're saying they're opening up their arms and welcoming as much money on the over as possible. I guess that's the only angle that I can see here, is that they want as much money on the over as possible, and they're opening their arms to over action. And that makes me think that the first 5 under is in play. The only concern here is the Phillies are hitting 319, 881 OPS versus lefties, but if there is implied line value, it means that Lodolo should pitch okay here at home. I guess it's just not enough, but I can understand moving on that first 5 under. Joe Watkins on Phillies first 5 and full game seems high for the money flow. Yeah, look, it just doesn't all work together. But I would. Joe, you ever said this early start in Philly smash yesterday? Yeah, I get the first 5 under. I get it.
I mean, yeah, I definitely get it. You know, Ranger Suarez always looked better on the road this season, slightly better. And then coming off some dominant starts against the Mets and Pittsburgh on the road, and which he only gave up 3 hits in each of those. So, I mean, I like Ranger here today. I feel like we have half the equation, but yeah, I couldn't get there. I got other plays.
Yeah, no, I get it. I just want to see what I would be offered on that first 5 here quickly before we move on to the next game. I mean, I don't need to force action at the first 5. Wow, it's moved to 4 for me. Okay, so I missed that opportunity. Let's move on. We move on to 1:05 p.m. Eastern, and Saturated saying Phillies haven't seen Lodolo at all. I mean, that's the angle more and more makes sense, but I'm just not going to take it at 4. Chicago Cubs 48-67, 24-33 on the road at the Washington Nationals, 39-79, 19-43 at home. We're at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. What a treat it is to get to cap this car with you, Nolly. I'm excited about the opportunity. 79 Fahrenheit and 3.3 miles per hour in is the situation. So very light wind, nothing to be concerned about. Let's go over to the line history here in this one. Move this over, and we have Smiley and Abbott. We have a 20-cent move towards the Chicago Cubs. Was 25 cents in its comeback. So a 20-cent move towards the Cubs. And from a total perspective, it opened up at 9 at a pick'em, and it did drop to 8.5 about 45 minutes ago. 25 minutes ago, it came back to 9. So it's a 10-cent move to the under and a 20-cent move to the Cubs. 10-cent move to the under, 20-cent move to the Cubs. We have the Washington Nationals being given half line value by Sports Insights, 9,116 tickets in. 21% of the tickets and 33% of the cash are on Washington. And then you have 39% of the tickets and 87% of the cash on the under. Drew Smyly's looked very good. 3.69 ERA, 1.29 whip. He did have a hiccup earlier in the year, went on the IL, came back, and looks good. His last start was in the 4-2 win over Cincinnati in the Field of Dreams game in Iowa. Went 5 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 9 Ks, 2 walks. On the road, he's been slightly worse than he's been at home. 4-3, 3.98 ERA, 267 opponent's batting average. Corey Abbott, I don't know what to do with. He was a second-round pick by the Cubs in 2017 out of Loyola. He was someone that there was high hopes for. This year, with Iowa and with Rochester in AAA, 0-5, 4.98 ERA. Did have 40 Ks and 34 in the third, but 19 walks, not good. His last start was a 10-5 loss at home versus the Padres. He went 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks, 3 walks. He doesn't look good. The Cubs versus righties, 262, 758. They're smashing them over the last 30 days. And that's 248, 695 versus lefties. Decent. This Cubs bullpen has really stepped it up. Last 30 days, 2.80 ERA, 1.24 whip. Nats bullpen 4.02 ERA, 1.39 whip. There is Big Show Picks, our guy Big Show, and he will be producing our big college football show, 2 p.m. Eastern, starring C-Mac and Babano. And there it is, Big Show. So Big Show will be producing that, and we're really, really excited about it. First show is this Monday. Take it away here, Nolly knows Cubs, Nats.
Yeah, you mentioned how Drew Smyly has been dealing. I mean, he did get touched up a little bit by San Francisco, but then comes back against Miami and Cincinnati. But two teams really not producing much. Gets another one here with Washington. Hard for me to expect much of anything else, just another strong performance, but maybe gives up a couple. The other side, Corey Abbott, that's the guy that I have concerns with. He did look strong early on against San Diego, eventually giving it up. Back-to-back starts. Philadelphia as well gave it up 3 2/3, 7 hits, 7 earned runs, gave up 4 home runs in that game. So he's the big question mark for me in this game. And I see the total at 9. It seems a bit high, but if you look at the last 2 games, going over the total here. And so I think that represents the last 2 matchups of the game between these 2 teams. And for me, ultimately, it's hard for me to pull the trigger on these two pitchers. I'm more so looking at a hitter prop. I was looking more so at Ian Happ. Not sure if he's in the lineup. Haven't been able to check that right now. But Ian Happ coming off an 0 day and something that I like to look for because he's been red hot. Previous to that, the last 7 games, he was 5-2 over 1.5 total bases. He's hitting 304 in this month, 609 slugging in the month of August, hitting multiple home runs the previous day, and getting multiple doubles in that span. And so I'm looking at Ian Happ over 1.5 total bases. It was at like plus 130 for me. I took a small shot at that.
Happ is in the lineup. He's batting cleanup. So it's McKinstry, Horner, Suzuki, Happ, Reyes, Ortega, Wisdom, Yan, Gomes, and PJ Higgins at first for the Nats. Thomas, Meneses, Voit, Cruz, Ruiz, Hernandez, Abrams, Colin, Vargas. Is this a spot that you want to make official here on the show? You've had nice success with player props here on the show. Do you want to make Happ official?
Yeah, I'll make Happ official. Coming off the offer is what I like. I think he gets at least a double today. He does hit better against lefties, but he's been on fire, and I like to see it.
So over 1.5 bases, and what's the juice? Do you know?
Oh, plus 125.
Plus 125 for Nolly knows. Happ over 1.5 bases. So let's talk. So I see all the sharp money here on the under. I would be closer to moving really on that first 500 if it had stayed at 8.5. The fact that it, as soon as it went to 8.5, was pushed right back to 9 gives me some pause. The 4.5's at minus 105. We trust Smyly against these Nats bats. Is that correct to say that you trust Smyly? So the question is whether we think Abbott can make it through.
I would say that I'll trust him to be decent, but I mean, I'm not expecting another shutdown performance from Drew Smiley. I'd expect him to give up 1 or 2 here. So
yeah, I wonder. You're right. No, I mean, I thought that with Jordan Montgomery might come back to earth after that Yankee start, but then he pitched excellent right again. But Abbott just, I mean, he's made it through 5 innings. What, once this year? Once this year. And if that means that this Nats bullpen will come in, I guess I don't really trust it. I don't really trust it. Bo Jackson says take the Cubs. Joe Yeager says Smiley games 10-4 to the under. And by the way, Trenton Claxton is on the over in both WNBA games, and he's on Detroit first 5. Our guy Trenton Claxton, and watch what he does with WNBA. I've watched it for 5 years. He's excellent. I guess I have a lean to that under, and it wouldn't necessarily. I could go full game because the Cubs. I guess it's just that fucking Nats bullpen that would be a concern. Joe Urick says Nats worst first 5 team this year. John Todd says, you know how the books work. They move the number down to get you to go the other way. Yeah, I get it. But it's just the fact that it jumped back up to 9 so quickly meant that there were, it's the morning and there were sharp cappers just waiting for it to drop to 8.5 so they could hammer the over, which makes me hesitate. I will put I can't do it. No, I can't do the first 5 under 4.5. I'm not going to start my day there. Okay, so we have, and Johnny Gunn says there's better spots. Jimmy, this is where we get to the next level. Yes, that's what I need to do here after a day like yesterday and the second half like we've had. But we do have Nolly on the board. Nolly knows is on Ian Happ over 1.5 bases at plus 125. We move on 1:10 p.m. Eastern. Kansas City Royals 48-70, 19-36 on the road at the Minnesota Twins 16-55, 33-25 at home. We're at Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We will start with the weather in Minnesota. 79 Fahrenheit, 4.5 miles per hour out to left field, 4.5 to 4.9. So it's not an issue. The wind is not an issue. Let's move over to the line history in this Lynch Molly start. We have a 20-cent move to the Twins, and this total opened up at 8.5 and dropped to 8. And not only that, but it's now minus 115 to the under at 8. So let's see if the cash flow follows suit there. We have half line value being given to the Kansas City Royals, 8,751 tickets in. 83% of the tickets and 97% of the cash are on the Twins. Now, there has been a 20-cent move towards them. So then 32% of the tickets and 58% of the cash on the under. So there were looks on the over in this spot, which is interesting. Lynch, last start in an 8-3 loss at home to the Dodgers, was excellent. 5 innings, no earned runs, and we know what the Dodgers have been doing against lefties. We're going to talk about that later in the card because they're facing Eric Lauer, and they're ripping the leather off the ball against lefties. Lynch is pitching very well right now. He's been better on the road than he's been at home this year, which is strange. And then you have Tyler Mahle coming off that start that was emotional for him. And we talked about it yesterday because Wine Time Sports, his buddies, Little League buddies with Tyler Mahle, and said he was 10 minutes from his hometown. Just got news yesterday that he and his wife were expecting a baby boy, and he was spectacular. Does he do it again here? Is the question. Neither team, Royals have not been hitting righties. They actually a little better than the season average, I guess. 247, 691 OPS. The Twins haven't been hitting lefties. 234, 692 OPS. The Royals bullpen's been horrible over the last 30 days. 5.04 ERA, 1.54 WHIP, and the Twins bullpen has been bad over the last 30 days, 4.12 ERA, 1.29 WHIP. Let's see what Nolly knows has to say about this spot. 1:10 p.m. Eastern, popping off in an hour and a half, Royals Twins.
Yeah, you mentioned Tyler Mahle, but I mean, ultimately, he has been pitching pretty well. You look at the month of June, 2.94 ERA, month of July, 3.71, and it's put together 2 decent starts in Toronto, going 6 and giving up 4. That's not a bad start. Just maybe 1 too many than I would like, but still overall has looked a lot better, and I think more comfortable pitching away from Cincinnati. Here going against going against these Royals, there's very few at-bats that have come against Tyler Mahle, and I'd expect him to continue to roll here. I expect another strong performance. Lynch on the other side has been pitching extremely well as of late. Last 3 starts, 2.20 ERA, 16 strikeouts in that span. And here for Daniel Lynch, I expect him to have another strong performance as well. You got to watch out for Carlos Correa. Does have a 429 batting average against him in 14 at-bats, something that Correa does do quite a bit, and he takes advantage of those lefties. So maybe a bat to be concerned with. But here in this game, I'd expect both these pitchers to perform. I like both these pitchers. One concern, though, here is a little bit of weather later on into the game. Maybe in the later innings, do get some rains. I'm seeing close to 67% around 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. But for me, I'm going to try to avoid that. Not why I took it, but I'm avoiding that. I went first 5 under in this game. I like these pitchers, and that's the way I'm going to be attacking it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mike M. Pimp Slap Play today is also on this first 5 under. Twins not hitting lefties. The 4.5 not available to me. The 4 is, if I wanted to bet the 4.5, see what it would cost here. Minus 140. Oh, that sucks. MDR looking at the over 1.5 bases at plus 110. Derek Rossi says first 5 under 4.5 is the play. It is the play, and I missed it. Trenton Claxton says KC first 5 got a feeling on this game. Jay Peasy's on the Twins run line. And we had, where is it? We had Jacob Houston saying Royals are dead and Twins are fighting for a wild card spot. Forget the splits. Back the Twins, however you best see fit. Jamal Martin asking you, Nolly, we're going to spend a little bit more time on this game. We do have Lamont Williams, Max Bettin as well. New York Mets run line. I'm going to copy and paste that, have that so we can talk about for the Mets game. Jamal Martin saying, Nolly, what do you think of the Correa over 1.5 total bases? And MDR's on it.
I mean, yeah, I would lean that way, definitely. The guy's been producing against the lefties, got strong numbers against them. I definitely would lean that way, but I'm not taking it, though. I like the under a little bit better, so I don't want to bet against myself.
Yes, and I believe, well, let's just see what we can get for Nolly. Let's go over to Pinnacle first. We'll also pull up Circa here. And here we go. We have... Let's get over to this spot. So they've moved it to 8. And look, it's minus 116 to the under at 8. Wow. The under 4.5 is minus 137. Wow, it's just steaming to the under. Let's just see Circa. So it looks like I can only offer you a 4. Now, again, when we've had... a guy like Hunter Engelhart, he would prefer the 4 at plus money than the 4.5. Even if it was minus 120, he'd prefer the 4 at plus money. Let's see what we can offer Nolly knows.
I'm not that guy. Yeah. There's just certain key numbers here. Know what I mean? You're talking 4, and then you're talking 7 to 7.5. I'm buying that hook every time. And I've seen it work for me countless times just in the last 2 weeks. So. There's certain key numbers, but here, I mean, it's tough, Jimmy. I did grab the 4.5, but I mean, go ahead, give me the 4. We're gonna go ahead and flirt with it.
I found one 4.5 that wasn't too expensive at minus 129.
All right, let's do that one.
Okay. All right. I would be interested in it if it was available to me. Mine's 11 cents more expensive. Our guy Stimmy OG in the house. Mike M saying Minnesota on a 1-6-1 to the under angle, 2-5-1 to the under first 5. Billy Friedrich says can't pass up the Royals first 5 plus 163 here. He says I think Lynch is the better starting pitcher. So let's lock that. Yeah, wow, that's an interesting take. We'd be waiting for guys like Lynch and Singer to show that they were top of the rotation guys. They're very highly thought of prospects coming up. Ray says Twins are on fire on offense right now. Well, against lefties last 30 days. Say what, my man?
They won 2 games. Let's not forget, they just lost a series against the Angels. I'm not forgetting that. So as much as they need, they might bleed. I don't really ride that they need to win and the other team doesn't.
And they're only hitting 234, 692 OPS versus lefties the last 30 days. And if you have an OPS under 700, you're not on fire offensively. And you're going up against lefty here who's pitching quite well. I mean, can you imagine that he shut down the? Now I know it's in his ballpark, but that was a very impressive performance against the Dodgers team that won or they were on their way. That was their 11th straight win, and they couldn't erupt until Lynch left the game. So let's get you this first 5 under 4.5 at -129. Okay, we lost Nolly there for a second. There, Nolly is back in action. Okay, first 5 under 4.5 for Nolly. Nolly, first 5 under 4.5 -129. That's available right now at Circa. Mike M was just had his mind exploded with your as much as they need, they might bleed. He loves it. All right, let's move on. We hit 307, and now we're in a situation where the afternoon's going to blow past me, and I'm not going to have any action unless I wanted to put a bet on the first 5 under in Chicago, Washington, and I don't really. So, okay, let's talk about this spot at 3:07 p.m. Eastern. Baltimore Orioles 61-55, 28-34 on the road at Toronto Blue Jays, 61-54, 35-25 at home. Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario. Austin Voth going up against Ross Stripling. Professor Chris says, I'm on the Orioles again, and we know that Dennis Garcia is going to be on the Orioles again. We know that. And look at this. Bo Jackson's birthday today. Happy birthday, Bo. Says, headed to this game to kick off my birthday. Might fade my Blue Jays. Oh, no. On your birthday, you're fading your boys. But look, money talks. Let's just focus on the cash. Orioles, Jays, Rogers Center, Toronto, Ontario. Let's take a look at the weather here in Toronto. Mostly cloudy, 75. I can't call it the 6. I think I know that that's a nickname for the city, and I'm just gonna sound like such a fucking douchebag calling the city the fucking 6. It's thought I think it, I'm like, and I know it's, and I'm like, fuck it, not gonna call it. And then look, I'm a Drake fan, but fuck off, Okay, 75 Fahrenheit, 5.3.
I don't want to get into that. That's a family affair. I don't know.
Look, I know there's a lot of dislike for him. Do you hear DMX just went off? There's an interview that just came out where he was just trashing Drake. He's like, I don't like the way he raps. Every song sounds the same. I don't like the way he dresses. I don't like the way he looks. It's just DMX. Okay, 75 Fahrenheit, 5.3 miles per hour out to left, down to 4.7 miles per hour. Joe Yerford says Orioles only or pass. Orioles only or pass. Professor Chris says Orioles money line should be +125, not +150. We have Austin Voth going up against Ross Stripling, whom we have not seen since July 30th. What was Ross Stripling's? Let me just get this again. I meant to have this up and ready for you guys, and I apologize. What was he dealing with? A right glute hip strain. A right glute hip strain is why he was on the 15-day DL. So, an issue. So, he threw 5 scoreless innings in a rehab start with Buffalo last Friday. So, he's on a 5-day pitching schedule. So, he must be fine. Okay. So that's Stripling's issues here. All right, let's go over to the weather. I did that already. The weather, and then so it's slightly out to left. Let's go over to the line history here. Line history with this one, Voth Stripling. There's been a 5-cent move to the Orioles. They opened up at +150. They're now at +145. Went up to +160. Then we'll take a look at the total. Opened up at 9, and an hour and 10 minutes ago moved to 8.5. So a slight move to the Orioles and a slight move to the under. Let's see if the cash follows suit with this look. 7,654 tickets in, 43% of tickets, 53% of cash on Voth, 64% of tickets, and 91% of cash on the over, which makes very little sense. There's Ski Profit in the house joining us. Jacob Houston says Blue Jays 3-7 against the spread, last 10 at home for -5 units. Wow. Wu says a Stripling solid in AAA rehab, 5 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs. Bo Jackson saying Stripling is 2-7 at home against the AL East. Voth's last start, 10-3 win at the Rays. Remember, there was all that sharp money on the Orioles in that game, and Voth stepped up 5 1/3, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 Ks, 1 walk. But he's been bad on the road this year. 5.46 ERA, 273 opponent's batting average. But we said that before that last start in Tampa. And the Jays are hitting harder than Tampa. Stripling in that July 30th start went 4 1/3, 2 earned runs, 5 Ks. He's been good this year, and he's been good at home. 2-2, 3.02 ERA, 247 opponent's batting average. Orioles are hitting righties basically as hard as the Blue Jays, and 267, 733 for the Orioles. And the Orioles bullpen's been so good, 2.65 ERA, 1.13 WHIP, and same with the Blue Jays. Take it away here. Nolly knows. Can't wait to hear this. Orioles, Blue Jays.
Yeah, crazy matchup here. We're talking Austin Voth, guy giving up. Washington Nationals completely give up on him. But more recently here, you look at the month of July, put together a great month, 2.75 ERA here in August. 2 decent starts, going 5 1/3, 2 against Tampa Bay. So quite surprising that he's putting it together. But hey, maybe he's figured something out. And going against this team over here in Toronto, not doing much of anything offensively. 2.6 runs per game over the last 7, 233 batting average. So a team that's just not hitting the ball and really looking at their playoff chances just fall away here. So how eager are they to put it together? They must be angry right now. Ross Stripling, Jimmy likes to hate on Ross Stripling, but the guy's been good over here. What more can you ask from a guy like this, putting together quality starts? Not going all that deep in every start, but still giving his team a chance to win. And for me, the combination of what Voth's done and the bullpen for Baltimore, because I think Voth is the bigger question mark ultimately for me. But their bullpen together with that, I like what I see on that side. Inability for Toronto to hit. I mean, hard to stay off the Baltimore side. But to me, I like the full game under here. Only shot I took. That's the way I liked it. I like it in this game.
Yeah. That makes sense. It's a similar situation as that first game that we capped, where they have moved all this money on the over, and they've moved it to 8.5, with the books opening their arms to more money on the over. And I still don't. I mean, clearly, when I say it out loud, that means, I should bet on the under. But for whatever reason, I get nervous and I don't. It just makes me uncomfortable. Let's see if we can get you a 9 here on this one. So Jays, Orioles, they've dropped it to 8.5. So the under 9 is minus 121 there. Let's see what we can get you here at Circa.
This situation is a little different, So where that hook, I'm playing to win regardless. So 8.5 works for me.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so let's just see what the 9's minus 125 here. Okay, so the 8.5 is plus 104. So you're getting a juicy plus line.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, I get it. Okay, Orioles, Jays. Nolly is moving on the under 8.5 at plus 104. Billy Friedrich said plus 102 at Bookmaker. There's our guy, Jimmy Gomez, in the house. Domigan says over's been hitting. That's why they're following that 7-1 to the over number. I like stripling. Sorry. I like stripling. I'm a tuner.
Hey, easy, Dom. Easy.
No, it was me. It was me. It was me. It was all me. He wrote
Dom was having a party. Yeah.
No, that was all me. Okay. Let's stay focused. Mikey M likes a no-run first inning here. Under 8.5 at plus 104. Okay. We move on to 4:07 p.m. Eastern. Seattle Mariners 64-54, 33-28 on the road at the Los Angeles Angels, 51-66, 26-35 home. Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. U Capper, by the way, is on the Orioles' first 5 as well. Great to see you here, U Capper. And Bo Jackson says, bear in mind the Jays are flying to New York after this game. See, it's funny you mentioned that, Bo, because I was saying last night, that's what they need. This team needs to go into a high-pressure situation right now. Get to the Bronx, have it be extremely important, and see if that can fucking rejuvenate something. All right, Mariners, Angels, Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. You know, Touki Toussaint has looked quite good. I don't understand why, you know, maybe I was like, looking at the decisions that we made around starting pitching. You can get Touki Toussaint for a cup of coffee. We know what he was thought of. He was a, you know, top 100 prospect for 3 years in a row, up to number 53 in MLB. Why not? Why wouldn't every team want to just take a shot with this kid? Ski Profit looking at the George Kirby strikeouts here. Let's talk about this Mariners Angels spot. We're in Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. We're going to start with the weather. 84 Fahrenheit, 9 miles per hour out to right center, and gets up to 10.1 miles per hour. So it's hot and it's offensive weather. Let's go over to the line history in this spot here, Kirby Toussaint. And we have a 50. Well, the Mariners have gone from minus 200 to minus 185. And the Angels have gone from plus 170 to plus 165. So a move towards the LA Angels and a 5-cent move to the under. So a slight move to the Angels, slight move to the under, and 2,799 tickets in. So nobody wants to bet this game. And nobody wants to bet the Red Sox-Pirates game at this point either. We have 73% of the tickets on Seattle, but we don't have a money line. They have not told us the money amount. Cash amount. Then 45% of tickets, 91% of cash on the over. AOD says, when is the next shoey? I got to fill the fridge up with beer, but I need to redeem myself after my first shoey. I've seen what I've done wrong. I can fix it.
You did that?
I did do a shoe, but I didn't know what I was doing. I took it out of the shoe, and a lot of it came all over me. I didn't realize you got to take it from the side. So
it's artwork, huh?
Yeah, it's you know, I didn't spit in it. Like Nick does, so I wouldn't do that shit. Okay,
okay.
George Kirby, 4-3, 3.39 ERA, 1.20 WHIP. He's been great. 86 Ks in 85 innings and just 12 walks. That's a great K to walk ratio. In his last start, it was a win at the Rangers. He went 5 2/3, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 Ks, 1 walk. At home, he's been slightly worse than he's been on the road. 1-2, 3.72 ERA, 2.74 opponent's batting average. And I talked about Tuki's these guys faced off against each other. That's right. These guys faced off against each other last start. Okay. Mariners versus righties, 202, 622 OPS last 30 days. They're not hitting righties at all, and that's the bottom of the barrel against righties the last 30 days. Angels versus righties, 227, 672 OPS. Mariners bullpen's been excellent. 3.06 ERA, 1.04 WHIP over the last 30, and the Angels' bullpen's been very good too. 3.36 ERA, 1.14 WHIP. Take it away here. Nolly knows Mariners, Angels.
Yeah, the tough thing with this game is the fact that they just saw each other. For Touki, it's going to be not for Touki, for Kirby. That was Kirby recently saw the Angels, but he still only gave up 6 hits, 1 earned run. He's been on fire. You look at his last 3 starts, 287 ERA, 20 strikeouts in 15 2/3 innings, really getting the strikeouts and only 2 walks in that span. Touki, first start though, coming back in Oakland, giving up just 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 6 strikeouts. So looked impressive, but I mean, still, what are we going to get from him? There is a high ceiling. He was highly touted. I will remind the Angels at home, 57.9% to the under. So initially I looked there, but you talk about the temperature there. I don't necessarily think weather just going to create offense, but the ball does fly a lot more during the day at Angel Stadium. 87 degrees, wind blowing out slightly at 9.2 miles per hour. So, I mean, it's hard for me to try to jump on the under here, but with these pitchers, that's where I would lean towards. I didn't realize that this was an early game. I'm thinking about going to this game now, but besides that, as far as betting it, I'm not on it yet. But if I go to this game, I'm going to pull a trigger, and if anything, it'll be the under.
Yeah, my bad. I guess I copied and pasted and didn't copy and paste the new one. But Touki did face the Rangers in his first start back and went 4 innings, 2 earned runs. And I was impressed with those back-to-back starts against the A's. I think Touki has something here. But very, very offensive weather. No, these are not my favorite team hats. I try to switch them up once in a while. I got this from Slaughter. It's a beautiful ABA San Antonio. I'm liking that one a lot right now. And I always, I would say this Quebec Nordique set is probably and then the Jays, of course, and the Whalers. I like some of them. Okay, Roger, that great to see you. Joe Yergevich says Touki cannot be trusted here. Seattle offense has gotten going. I guess
great point. This isn't the Oakland offense. It's a quite a different offense. over the last 7 games, almost averaging 5 runs a game. So definitely a different offense.
Yeah, I like what I've seen, but again, I like what I've seen against. I like that back-to-back. I thought that was impressive, and the A's are hitting fine right now. What are the A's numbers just quickly against? Just pull this up here. No, they're not. But that's against lefties. They're not hitting. Okay, are you going to move on this under, or are you staying off at this point?
I'm staying off right now, but I mean, I really like Kirby. I feel we have half the equation there with the poor offense and the Angels. Kirby looked 2 starts, 12 innings pitched, 12 hits, but only 3 earned runs, 14 strikeouts to 1 walk against the Angels this year. So I expect him to continue to pitch well. Just the other side for Tukey is the big question mark.
Yeah, I'm going to stay off at this point, and I know I've said that a lot lately. And those of you who know, when I come off a 5-0 day or any kind of board sweeping day, I'm a little more hesitant, which I have no problem with. I'm not going to worry. I know the bets will come. 4:10 p.m. Eastern. Next up, San Diego Padres 65-54, 32-30 on the road at the Miami Marlins 52-65, 25-32 at home at Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. We have Clevenger going up against Pablo Lopez. Pablo Lopez, whom you trusted vehemently last Friday, and you reaped the rewards of Lopez to start at home. Now he has back-to-back starts at home. Let's see how he handles here. We'll start with the line history in this one. Marlins, Padres. We have, here we go, Clevenger, Lopez. A 10-cent move to the Padres. 10-cent move to the Padres from a total perspective. Opened up at 7 at -110 and has not moved. Mike M says San Diego road starts are 9-0 to the no-run first inning. Wow. Very interesting. An 0-16 angle for Miami today. Wow. Very, very interesting. All right. Roger that. That sounds real nice, man. Real nice. Real nice. And by the way, Stimmy OG's over on the over 8.5 big in that spot. And MDR24 says Sharpie likes to mention that Tukey started the Crips. He does. He does like to mention that. Okay, Padres, Marlins. Let's move over to the cash flow here in this one. We have a 33% or maybe 25% line value on the Padres, 80% of the tickets and 94% of the cash. Interesting. Then 39% of the tickets, 73% of cash on the over. Clevenger 4-4, 3.47 ERA, 1.14 WHIP, 70 innings, 65 Ks, 21 walks, and 9 home runs. In his last start, he went 5 innings, allowed 3 hits, 1 earned run, no homers, 3 Ks, 4 walks, and a 10-5 win at the Nats. On the road, he's been a little worse than he's been at home, but he's been good all around. 3.80 ERA, 2.14 opponent's batting average. John Todd says, I feel like the Padres going yard today. I'm taking the game over. Jamal Martin says, this is my favorite play today. San Diego -140. Says Miami can't hit righties, and San Diego is familiar with Lopez. I love it, Roger. That we all need that, my man. Let's talk about Pablo Lopez at home. 3-3, 3.79 ERA, 2.27 opponent's batting average. And I mentioned, I mentioned that this was a spot where Nolly was very successful trusting Pablo Lopez, and I was very nervous about trusting Pablo Lopez. Padres versus righties, 263, 793 OPS. That's the last 30 days. They're hitting them hard. In Miami versus Marlins versus righties, they continue to scuffle. 233, 640 OPS last 30 days. And both bullpens have been quite good of late. Padres, 3.45 ERA, 1.33 WHIP, while the Marlins, 3.66, 1.39 WHIP. Take it away, Nolly. I can't wait to hear your breakdown, especially of Pablo Lopez. Take it away. Padres, Marlins.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this game here. Marlins quickly becoming one of my favorite teams as of late. Continue to cash the under. They're on a crazy train over the last 15 games. And here, Pablo Lopez going against San Diego Padres. Padres, they've shown to be very inconsistent with the bats, been getting to some of the worst pitchers in the game, but going against some tougher opponents, they've been getting completely shut down, been shut down 3 of the last 7 games. So you look at their overall numbers for the 7 days, it looks a lot better at 6.0. but thrown in the mix was a big outlier performance, in my opinion. 13 against San Francisco and 10 against Washington, but then going 3-6-0-0-3. So San Diego Padres, I believe, will struggle against Pablo, which I believe he's feeling a lot more comfortable now. Going into the last start was the first time he was able to put the trade rumors in the rearview mirror. He was able to get rid of that. He sat down with the GM. They had a good conversation about where they're going for the rest of the season. And for at least for the remainder of the season, he can relax and just worry about pitching. He talked about it in the interviews. He talked about being physically and mentally ready to go. And mental is a big thing with him. You see, if you throw him off in any way, he's gotten hit. But when he's on a good routine and he's feeling comfortable, and here we got back-to-back home starts for him where we've known over his career he's looked a lot better, I'm going to trust him to have another strong performance against these San Diego Padres. Mike Clevenger on the other side, facing the Marlins for the first time in his career, not one single at-bat against him, so I'd give him the early advantage. And we look at what he's done on the year. He had a hiccup against the Dodgers, but bounced right back against Washington, going 5, giving up 1 run on 3 hits in a day that he didn't have his best stuff. You looked, he gave up 4 walks in that game. So he got into trouble even in the first inning, but was able to get out of the jam. Signs of a great pitcher and showing his progression. I like these starting pitchers. In this game here, I'm going first 5 under 3.5. I like the way they're going. Lack of offense from the Miami Marlins. It might be a double-up spot if I can grab the hook somewhere, but it was a little too juicy for me right now. But I'll definitely like grabbing. Every time I see a 7, I always like to get the hook. It matters a lot.
Yeah, it sure does. It sure does with the low-scoring game, especially if extra innings is a possibility. I like this look. I think this look makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. The only concern is 38% of the ticket, 72% cash on the over. And that's the full game over, at 7, which is, but 3.5 first 5. I like it. I can understand why you like it. The fact that there's that money on the over might keep me off at this point, unless I'm going to sit here and not have any action, obviously, because that's what's happened so far through this show. The under 3.5 minus 117 at Pinnacle. It's minus 120 at Bet 365. And here at Circa, this first 5 under is minus 107. By far the best number. So let's give you that right now. So Nolly is locked in. First 5 under 3.5 at minus 107. Minus 107. There's Trot Wham in the house. Wham Bam. I miss hanging with Wham Bam. Looking forward to watch you rock this basketball season coming up. Okay, Nolly, first 5 under 3.5. And Dutch Boy Fresh in the house says the daily sesh will be fully loaded. Ski, and Wham will join the sesh. Don't miss the vibe. Oh, I like the sounds of that. Jack Rosenblatt says, worry about Lopez last 3 starts, 8.1 ERA for the under. I like Padres here. I get what you're saying, Jack, but I think that it was beautifully broken down by Nolly. And you guys know me, like I enjoy the psychological aspects of capping more than the numbers. And I understand now. I have a better understanding of what Lopez was going through over the last month when he didn't look very good. And that was the Braves he shut down at home in his last start. Now he's sticking around with the Marlins. So I think there's an explanation for that, and that's why Nolly's confident in the spot. And when you have an explanation that you trust, you bet. And so I like it, and I have interest in this, but I am going to put 3 question marks beside it. And Jack says, no doubt it was a great breakdown, but just want to throw that out there. I feel you, Jack, and that's what we do here. That's we don't always have to agree or anything like that. We share angles and talk about possibilities, and it helps us succeed. All right, and Joe Yurkovich just locked in Mariners first 5 minus a half at minus 125. Jamal Martin says, what about San Diego first 5 minus a half at plus 100? Yeah, I'd be interested. What if you had a free play on the first 5 side in Padres Marlins? Where would you be leaning, Nolly?
I'd lean towards the Marlins. I trust Pablo more today.
All right. Okay. Don't play these.
But I don't trust their bats. Sorry, Jimmy, but I don't trust their bats, so that's why we're here in the under.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. By the way, TJ's on the Angels plus 1.5, second plus money run line of the year. Don't play. These things happen, and remember how important it is, how hugely important it is to not let the losses hurt that much more than the wins feel good. It's going to. We all know that, but you got to be able to try to find a balance here. Try and find a balance here. Okay, let's move on. 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Boston Red Sox at Pittsburgh Pirates. Red Sox 58-59, 29-29 on the road at the Pirates. 45-71, 24-30 at home. We're at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Rich Hill going up against Roansy Contreras. Rich Hill going up. Just I'm gonna have to put mute. There's something going on here. Just quickly.
Is that me? Oh. Me or no? Are you? You me? You me?
No, sorry. No, it was not. It was something happening in the apartment here, which won't happen in the new house, which we'll be moving into in 2 weeks. Okay. Red Sox Pirates. Rich Hill, Roansy Contreras. Rich Hill 4-5, 4.75 ERA, 1.35 WHIP. His last start, he went 4 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, and a 9-7 extra inning loss at home to the Braves. But he's been bad at home all year long. Been terrible at Fenway. He's been decent on the road. 3-2, 3.42 ERA, 2.33 opponent's batting average. Roansy Contreras, on the other hand, has splits are fine. He's been decent at home, decent on the road. This is a really high potential pitcher here. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot in a 4-2 loss at the Reds. Red Sox are hitting 240, 689 OPS. Pirates against lefties 217, 641 OPS. Those are both the last 30 days. So Red Sox not hitting righties, Pirates not hitting lefties. Red Sox bullpen's been so bad in the last 30. 6.43 ERA, 1.57 WHIP, and the Pirates bullpen 3.19 ERA, 1.25 WHIP. When we talk about us all working together and sharing angles, yesterday was such a great example of it. I ended up moving off of the Pirates to the under 8.5, and not the first 5, but the full game, thinking that the Pirates bats were weak and thinking about how good the Pirates bullpen has been, even if something goes wrong with Keller. All that was about us working together. That was not my initial thought. It was us working together, and it was extremely, extremely helpful. Let's move over to the weather here quickly. Move over to the weather here, and we have in Pittsburgh 70 Fahrenheit 78 Fahrenheit 3 miles per hour left to right, goes up to 4.1, then drops to 3.3. So that is the weather. Let's go over to the line history here in this one. Red Sox Red Sox Pirates. The family did just make their exit, so I should be better focused here. And again, this won't happen soon. A 5-cent move to the Red Sox, and from a total perspective, opening up at 8.5, dropped to 8. Opening 8.5, dropped to 8. And when we take a look at the cash in this one, we have 39% of the tickets and 57% of the cash on the Pirates, and then 89% of the tickets and 87% of cash on the over. Another game where we have all this money on the over, and the totals dropped a half run. Very confusing. Thank you guys for the congrats. Sirens out my window all day and all night. Mental health nightmares all over the street. Living with a crack house right behind me, and I'm excited to get my family out of here. Red Sox Pirates. Nolly, take it away.
Yeah, Red Sox Pirates. Roansy Contreras, a guy I'm really high on, a guy that I was able to make quite a bit of money on him early on when guys weren't able to see him, but still ultimately needs to work on his third pitch. But here, making his first start back, coming off the injured list, and so not too sure what to expect. But a Boston team not hitting the ball that well, hitting just 238. 287 on base percentage and a 381 slugging. They know they're not making playoffs, so how motivated are they going to be? I don't even want to ask Jose about that because we're not going to get the right info. But I definitely not trusting the Boston bats right now. But on the other side, Rich Hill, he has been a lot better on the road. You look overall 487 ERA, but on the road 3.42 ERA, so significantly better. And last time out against Houston was a tough ask for him. So, but I'd expect him to have a much better performance than he has had. But ultimately, can I trust him? And am I going to trust Ronzi Contreras coming back from injury on his first start? That one's a little tough for me as well. I do trust Ronzi a little bit more. Pirates have been a little bit better. I think they're like 5 games under 500 at home as opposed to like 20 overall in the year. So they are slightly better at home. But for me, I'm not going to be able to trust Ronzi on his first start back. I like your angle there with Pittsburgh and picking on the bats. That's something that I mentioned. That's the recipe to take a full game. You know, when I'm picking on somebody's bats, I don't really always focus on first 5. You're going to bet the course of the game. If they hit early, they won't later. So I like that strategy. Maybe if they get some runs early, I'll take a live under in this game, but I'm staying off right now.
Interesting. Very interesting stuff. Interesting breakdown there. Interesting from TJ. TJ saying, where was it? Saying all the money on the Pirates. I wouldn't say all the money, but the bigger bets for sure on the Pirates and line moving to Boston. Easy play for me. Ski saying I was liking either Red Sox first 5 or the first 5 under. You know, I get it. I
personally could lay that with the Red Sox right now.
Yeah.
Ronzi is he's expected to be a hell lot better than Rich Hill ever was.
Yeah, and God, I don't know how I missed Contreras not pitching since July 7th. Let's just get a look at this quickly, see how he's been doing. Okay, so Contreras back to the major. So he was just dropped to the minors. Is that right? Nothing left to prove at AAA? Is that right? So it wasn't an injury? Wow. Yeah. Oh, they were careful. They were worrying about his innings. It was an inning situation. So now they're saying that he can pitch without restrictions. Wow. Interesting. How do you think that affects him being on this innings limit, going down to the minors when he deserves to be in the majors? I mean, how does that play on this kid's head? And yeah, Billy Friedrich saying they're watching his workload. Here. We got you. We don't have your audio here, Nolly. We'll give it a no. We don't have your audio here. Let me just. We'll get you right here. Yeah, maybe jump in and out. Billy Friedrich says, okay. All right. With all that said, I'm not going to. I have no idea then what Rowan's. I think that's a problem. I think that messes with his head. Now he gets back to the show. He's finally there. He probably doesn't have the continuity that he wants. Johnny Gunn says, I think he understands it, and I think he shows up today. Or does he put too much pressure on the opportunity to throw? You know, that's a real possibility that he puts too much pressure on him. But he was so good in that last start.
Word on the street is that we're talking Red Sox.
Yes, we are. Rich Hill versus Rowan C. Contreras, Red Sox Pirates. What are you thinking here?
It's interesting because obviously I lost money on the Pirates yesterday and their horrific defense. I really think if the Pirates just play, major league average defense, they're in that game, and it's a closer game than when it was 5-0 early, and then they go down, or 5-0 early, and then they come back 3 there. But I agree with the whole process of not trusting the Red Sox at -155. I will disagree with Nolly, and you guys will be shocked to hear this. The Red Sox are not out of the playoff race. They're not out of the playoff race.
Oh, God.
And Alex Cora, like I said yesterday, Alex Cora knows, like, it's time to step on the gas. Like, these are all games that have to perform and got to go out there and win. So their bullpen usage has been interesting. They're using only their big dogs right now. So it'll be fun to see for sure.
That was ludicrous, Jose. Absolutely.
You think your Blue Jays are fucking out of the playoffs already? They're like the half game back. You have to have faith. You have little faith. I believe this Red Sox team is still in the hunt, and realistically, they're going to play spoiler, and I cannot wait. It's going to be a lot of fun.
This is just.
You know what to do. You know what to do. You know.
Yeah, right. Okay, I guess I'm a little uncomfortable in this.
You see what I mean? You see what I mean? Yeah.
Oh yeah. The playoff bound Boston Red Sox. All right. Okay. Well, I guess. Okay, so this is what I want to ask you, Nolly. What do you think about a 22-year-old Contreras who has been on this innings limit? He goes down to the minors when he wants to be in the show. Now he finally gets an opportunity to pitch in the majors and against the Red Sox. How's his head here? Do you think that he tries too hard in this spot when he knows he's not going to go past 5 innings?
Nah, he's been here. It's not like it's like a first time thing. He's got the first inning jitters, things of that nature. I think he's comfortable in this organization. He knows where he stands, so it's not something that they're questioning whether or not he's a major league pitcher. They know he is. And every time he's been called up, every time they called his number, he's performed. So I don't expect anything different here. I just not going to put my money on it confidently.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Boston bullpen's still a problem. All the money on the over. Okay, all right. Nothing really correlating here. MDR24 saying 10-minute warning before the Phillies-Reds game. Let's move on to 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Tampa Bay Rays 62-53, 27-31 on the road at New York Yankees 72-45, 41-17 at home. We're at the Yankee Stadium in Bronx, New York. Kluber going up against Herman. Let's start with the weather in this one. Where are we in New York? Here we go. 74 Fahrenheit, 4.9 miles per hour in. Now it changes very quickly in this game, about 45 minutes in. So let's see what RotoWire says about the weather. I'd be curious to see how they handle this, because I trust Swish more than I trust RotoWire. I'd be very curious to see if they handle this appropriately. Okay. So it's in. But then it starts blowing out within an hour, and it blows out to that short porch in right, but only 4 miles per hour to the short porch. But that is important note that the second half, weather-wise, is much more helpful to offense. Then let's move over to the line history. In this one, we have a big move to the Rays. Holy. Opening up at plus 150. It took 9 minutes to get to plus 140. 23 minutes after that, plus 130. It's now plus 115. A huge move to the Tampa Bay Rays. And then this total opened up at 8, and then at 11:14 a.m. moved up to 8.5, and now that 8.5 is juiced. Millsy says, as a Yankee fan, I can't trust us. We lost 5 series back-to-back for the first time since 2005. There's Dommy Gunn's action. He's on Phillies under 8.5, minus 117. Yanks under 8.5, minus 110. Mets minus 1.5 plus 122, and the Blue Jays minus 1.5 at plus 120. Nasty Nate. Oh no, Nasty Nate is not happy being back from vacation. He says, when you wonder where the thumbs down came from, it was me for this Boston disrespect. And Dommy says that you need wind 10 miles per hour or higher if you wanted to play anything into right field. It's only going to be 4 miles per hour out to right field. Let's talk about Kluber and Herman here and go over to the cash flow. We've talked about the big market move towards the Rays. The Yankees, though, have a 15% line value, 7,237 tickets in, 47% of the tickets, and 65% of the cash is on the Yankees. That's crazy. 59% of tickets, 56% of cash on the over. Kluber's last start, he got lit up and smoked at home by the Orioles. 5 2/3, 10 hits, 7 earned runs. That was that start against Voth when all the sharp money was on Voth. On the road, he's been the same as he's been at home. 2-5, 4.38 ERA, 269 opponents batting average. Herman, in his last start, 3-2 extra inning loss at the Red Sox, looked very good. 1 earned run in 6 innings. He's only pitched for 23 2/3 under his belt, has allowed 4 home runs and walked 8 batters. The Rays versus righties, 230, 665 last 30 games. The Yankees versus righties, 225, 693 OPS. Wow. Rays bullpen and Yankees bullpen both been very good over the last 30 days. Take it away here. Nolly knows Rays, Yankees.
Yeah, look at Corey Kluber. Did get lit up last time out, but he's pitched really good against these Yankees. over the last 2 starts, 12 innings, 7 hits, only 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts to 1 walk earlier this year. And it's been a while, and these New York Yankees are hitting a lot worse right now than they were earlier in the year. Worst hitting team right now by far. Last 7 days, only averaging 1.3 runs per game, batting 154, on base percentage of 222, and a slugging of 228. Under cashing 6-0-1 in that span, really not getting it done offensively, but continue to pitch well. Only average of giving up 2.9 runs a game and a batting average of 199. So pitching obviously not a concern over there, but the hitting has been awful. And Kluber has had success. I'd expect him to have a bounce back performance. He seems to have something against New York for some reason. And on the other side, Domingo Herman has looked a lot better as of late, coming back over the last 3 starts, 2.25 ERA, last 2 going 11 innings, 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts, just 2 walks. And honestly, I expect him to have another strong performance. He does have the stuff to be good. A guy that I like quite a bit. I'm on the under here. I waited patiently. I saw the movement and I got the hook, and give me the 8.5 full game.
Interesting. Very interesting. I get it. You're expecting the bounce back performance from Kluber against a team that he pitches well against. I can understand this thought process. And 8.5
just ain't hitting.
Yeah, and the Rays aren't hitting at all. The Rays do nothing.
I mean, ultimately, yeah, the Rays are right there in the same boat, batting 198 in that same span, 196 over the last 7 games, only averaging 4 runs a game. So I like the numbers here. I like the pins, and yeah, full game for me.
So I have the so this opened up at Bet365 at 8. Right? 8 juice to the under. So it's 8.5 now, and getting that hook is helpful. So let's see what Penny is doing with this one. Here, pull it up and see what you're getting. God, Nolly, thank God for you, because I'm just sitting here like a moose in the headlights. I've done absolutely nothing. The total 8.5. So under 8.5 is even money almost, minus 102.
Beautiful.
8.5. Let's just see if I can beat that at Circa. They have given some pretty nice lines so far today. No, it's minus 112. All right, under 8.5 at minus 102 for Nolly, Nose, and Rays, Yanks. Nolly, under 8.5, minus 102. All right. And it's minus 105 bookmaker. Beautiful. Thank you for letting us know. And TJ says, wait, it's going to move to 9. Says line is still moving to the over. Closes at 9. Wow. Okay. We move on. Here, Detroit Tigers, Cleveland Guardians. Dami Gunrici says paid minus 110 at Bet Online. We have so much news and so many different things happening at Pub Sports Radio, different things we've done. And I told you guys about the monthly poker tournament that we're going to be having, and it's going to be hosted by Bet Online. So Bet Online is going to be hosting our monthly poker tournament, and we're really excited. So, and we'll have the guys live. We're all going to be going up against each other. And we're figuring out right now the prizes and the cash and all that, because we want it to be free to enter. So we're figuring all that here soon. Okay, so Tommy mentioning Bet Online, and we're excited to have a connect with them. All right, we move on to Detroit Cleveland Guardians, which means we now arrive at the taint play of the day. The taint play of the easy winner yesterday is the Cleveland run line. Cleveland minus 1.5 for sweet taint. Cleveland run line minus 1.5, minus 105. Here we go. The Guardians, Matty Ice on them. I'd like to have some action here today. We have Daniel Norris going up against Cal Quantrill. We already had Slatsy mention off the top of the show that whenever Matty Ice does anything involving a Detroit Tigers game, to make sure to listen. Make sure to listen. Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio. Daniel Norris going up against Cal Quantrill. Let's start with the weather in Cleveland. 75 Fahrenheit, 6.8 miles per hour in. Goes from 6.8 to 5.6 miles per hour. Let's move over to the line history here in this Guardians spot against Norris and Quantrill. We have a 10-cent move to the Guardians and a move to the under. It opened at 8 minus 115, and it's now 7.5 minus 115. So a 10-cent move to the Guardians and a half-run move towards the under. Let's see if the cash flow follows that up. And we have our second game on the board with full line value. And that full line value is on the Detroit Tigers. 8,536 tickets in. 20% of the tickets are on the Tigers and 56% of the cash. Wow. 41% of the tickets on the under and 99% of the cash on the under. A huge bet must have come in on the under, and that's why it's dropped a half run. Sunny Spring says it. Says Tiger spot, don't be fooled. Wow. Wow. Okay. Let's talk about the spot. Daniel Norris is back with the Detroit Tigers organization. He was part of the David Price trade from the Blue Jays to these Tigers in 2016, and he looked like he was going to be a starting pitcher for this team. He is not. Moved to the Cubs, barely pitched in the last 2 years, 15 and third innings, and he allowed 38 runs in those 15 and third innings before his last start with the Tigers. He obviously wants to pitch in the majors, and he showed that. Now, the White Sox aren't hitting lefties, and he went up against the lefties, and it was a 4-0 loss, but it wasn't on him. He didn't allow an earned run in 4 2/3. Going up against Cal Quantrill, who just completely shut down the Toronto Blue Jays, and he's been so good at home this year. 6-0 at home with a 3.16 ERA, 229 opponent's batting average. Tigers hitting just 212, 577 OPS versus righties last 30 days, and the Guardians hitting just 243, 668 versus lefties. Wow. Then Tigers bullpen 4.13 ERA, 1.40 whip the last 3 days. The bullpen struggling, and the Guardians have the best bullpen. And well, the Dodgers would have something to say about that. So the Guardians and the Dodgers have the best bullpen over the last 30 days. Guardians 2.38 ERA, 1.04 whip. Take it away here. Nolly knows. Can't wait to hear it. Tigers, Guardians.
Yeah, interesting here. You talk about Norris coming back. In talking about the last start, he mentioned how he just didn't have his best stuff in that game, but was still able to get out of some key jams, getting 2 double play balls and getting a lot of ground balls. And that's something that he's going to have to do. A guy that's not overpowering, a guy that's very crafty. So maybe he does put together another performance if he didn't have his best stuff. But I mean, a guy that knows how to get it done in the major league level has been here before, but I mean, it's a tough ask for him to continue to do it again. Other side, I trust a little bit more in Kyle Quantrill. Had 2 back-to-back dominant starts, 13 innings, 0 earned runs, only 4 hits, 11 Ks to 1 walk, and he pitched well the last time against Detroit, going 6 innings, 4 hits. In a bounce-back performance, he had got hit from them just 10 days prior to that, giving up 3 earned runs on 8 hits. There was an error that caused 6 total runs, but I believe he's pitching a lot better as of right now, really turned it around, and I'd expect him to have another strong performance. The question mark for me is Norris. You know, Daniel Norris is not a shutdown guy by any means, so I'm really not – I don't know if I can trust him here, but 2 teams that have been trending towards the under. I see my guy Ski talking about the under, but honestly, what I'm looking at to do with these 2 teams – is attack a live total. I did it yesterday, and that's what I have circled again here. They get some early runs. I'll be attacking the full game under live, trying to get a run or 2 more than what they're offering now. If I can get a 9.5, I'll be really excited with that. I'd expect Daniel Norris to give up a couple runs. I can't expect him to be perfect again.
Well, I am finally on the board. Thank God. First 5 under 4. I will be betting when this show is over. It's a pick 'em right now. Just need Daniel Norris to keep things calm. This is his chance to, again, have a job in the major leagues. New general manager in Detroit. So, and obviously the market's saying that he's going to have a good start, and there's huge money bet on the under. It's dropped a half run. This is all correlated. Finally. I'm on the first 5 under 4. We move on to the Mets against the Braves. Mets at Braves. This is a great spot because we have 2 of our OGs making moves on this. First off, Lamont Williams' max bet is the Mets on the run line -1.5. And then our guy Dommy Gun Ricci is also on that same bet, Mets -1.5. So we have Dommy and Lamont, And we know when we talk about Matty Ice talking about the Tigers, it's the same deal. When the Dommy Gun talks about the Mets and Nutflush Allen talks about the Giants. Mets, Braves, Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia, and Matty Ice is on the Mets first 5 -1/2. Let's go to the weather in Atlanta. 79 Fahrenheit, 3.9 miles per hour out to left center, down to 3.6. And by the third hour, after 2 hours, it's just left to right. Let's go over to the line history. And Top Set is on the Mets. So we have a ton of people believing in the Mets here against Jake Odorizzi, who's been pretty good. He's been pretty good. Let me just get Nolly be back here in a second. Mets. Oh, here, pop back up. Mets, Braves. We have Scherzer, Odorizzi. Okay, so we have a 10-cent move to the New York Mets. It was 15 cents. It's come back 5 cents at 7:49 a.m. From a total perspective, it opened up at 7.5 to the under -115, a 5-cent move to the over. So a slight move to the Mets and a slight move to the over. Jamal Martin, by the way, on Lindor and Acuna over total bases, both at plus money. Rant says under okay, Mets missing bats. Woo Rizza says saw the Mets -140 last night and had to do a double take. And Matty Ice says, yep, 2-unit play for me. And Professor Chris, his model, has the Mets at -103. Wow. That's very interesting, Chris. Okay, so let's see if the cash is all correlated to what we've been discussing here in this spot. We have very slight line value to Scherzer, maybe 5%, maybe less. A sliver. 11,373 tickets in. 71% of the tickets, 84% of the cash is on the Mets. Then 54% of tickets, 75% of cash on the under. North Ender on that first 5 under. Vipers already on the Mets first 5 -1/2. And look at Tommy Gunricci. Took both unders first 5 in full game. But if I had a free bet, I'd go, I took both unders first 5. But if I had a free bet, I'd go over the 7.5. Wow. Billy Friedrich says in 14 games this season, versus the Braves, Mets are averaging 4 runs per game. This looks like an under. Oh, you meant last night. Okay, Dominic, thank you. Okay, so let's talk about Maximus. His last start, 2-1 extra inning loss at home to the Phillies. He was very good. 7 innings, 9 hits, 1 earned run, 6 Ks, 0 walks. It was that Ranger Suarez was just as good. Maxi, what a year. 1.93 ERA, 0.93 whip. Just keeps delivering. 126 Ks, 17 walks. On the road, slightly worse than he's at home. 4-1, 2.16 ERA, 2.12 opponents batting average. Jake Odorizzi on the other side, in his second start with the Braves, he went 4 innings, 8 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 Ks, 1 walk, and a 4-3 win at the Marlins. He may find this a little more difficult. The Mets first righties last 30 days, 279, 788 OPS. The Braves first righties last 30 days, 262, 795 OPS. And the Mets bullpen has been struggling last 30 days, 4.66 ERA, 1.41 whip, while the Braves bullpen has continued to pitch very well. Interesting, Nolly. A lot of love for the New York Mets. Take it away. Can't wait to hear your breakdown. Mets, Braves.
Yeah, Max Scherzer continues to dominate. You look at the month of July, 1.39 ERA, 45 strikeouts in 32 innings, and then he comes up in August, pitching even a little bit better. 1.31 ERA, 22 strikeouts in 20 and 2/3 innings. Overall, just 6 walks in that span. So he's been extremely dominant in this span, and he's looked good against these Braves. Braves are 39 out of 186 at-bats, just a 155 batting average and a 266 slugging. So I'd expect another strong performance from him, something that we've been growing accustomed to. Seems like he's really turned it on right now. Other side, Odorizzi coming off a decent start against the Marlins, but a guy that's been kind of up and down a little bit. And you look at his overall numbers against these Mets, they're a bit inflated by Lindor. Somebody mentioned Lindor over 1.5 total bases. Definitely could be a look here today. Lindor is hitting 11 to 28, a 393 batting average and a 750 slugging. He's got 4 doubles and 2 home runs. So overall numbers against Odorizzi, he's got 6 of the 8 extra base hits that the team has against Odorizzi. So no one else with multiple at-bats, with more than 10 at-bats, has had a success against Odorizzi. So I'm expecting a strong performance from him in this playoff-type atmosphere. Braves looking for a little redemption after getting beat up from the Mets last time out. And I'm looking at a full game under 7.5 myself.
Well, I'm gonna lock that in for you. This reminds me. I wish TJ could be here with us all the time, but he's a professional. He's got a very important job, and so he's not here all the time. But the last time TJ was here, there was a Red Sox Orioles game, and the Orioles were listed at plus 120, open at plus 120, went down to plus 115 or 110, and it was crazy. The Orioles were playing such good ball. It made no sense to me why the Orioles would be at that number. And I said on the show, I was like, the books knew by placing the Orioles at this number, they would get nonstop Orioles action. The Red Sox won that game 4-3. And I didn't know what to do. And then I remember TJ saying, trust your gut on this. And then here, when you put Max Scherzer at minus 140 against Jake Odorizzi, the books had to know, we're just going to take nonstop cash on the Mets. Everyone's going to see Scherzer at that number and want to pounce. And that makes me uncomfortable. But your breakdown on Jake is interesting. And these teams are smashing righties. Let's see what we can get you for that under right now. But this one really makes me nervous.
I think it's also a combination for me. You're going against Max Scherzer. Guys are going to bring it. That's just typically what happens when you got a stud like that. The outs just kind of start to roll. You know, you get 2-3 outs, then you blink and we're in the fourth inning, you know. And also these pins, you know, these overall ranked 5th and 6th overall in ERA in the MLB. So still two good staffs.
The Circus moved it to 8 with no alternate line, I believe. Let me just check if they do have an alternate line. Yes, they do have a total alternate. But they'll only let it move to 8.5. Wow. But it's minus 129 to the under at 8. Here, the 7.5 at minus 108 at Pinnacle. Would you prefer the 7.5 at minus 108 or the 8 at minus 129?
7.5.
And we will lock it in for you. I completely get your the angle you just mentioned about a pitcher going up against a Hall of Famer is something that works time and time and time again. We just see it. We see pitchers step up in the situation. So I like that.
I'm sorry. It's just something that I just from experience and watching these games, you know, even like you bet a guy, you're like, this is the guy, and all of a sudden the other guy deals with him, and I've just seen it too many times. And just this playoff atmosphere, National League playoff game, you know, this is a big game. I'll be definitely watching this game, and I got to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, I get it. New York Mets, Atlanta, under 7.5 at minus 108. I wonder what Bet365 has done with this total. So check this out quickly. They're at 7.5 at a pick'em. By the way, Joe Yurkovich is on the team total over 1.5 for the Tigers at plus 110, and that makes me nervous. Because the only move I know that I'm making is that. What the hell is it? Sorry, is the under first 5 under 4. If you hit your over 1.5, I expect to lose my bet. The best I probably will do is a push if you hit your bet, which makes me nervous. And TJ says solid take, Nolly. Under seems good. Worried about Circa being at 8. Dommy Gun Regis says Nola said it the other day when he lines up against DeGrom, he knows he has to be at his best. Yes, Justin Bilbo, it was a great day yesterday. 5-0 plus 5.2 units. Yesterday I was at 6.85 units. So yeah, it was an excellent day. Very needed. Really needed. Okay. Dommy says the difference is Odorizzi is not that type of pitcher. We've seen him step up at times. Interesting.
Yeah, he set that up nice, didn't he? Dommy here.
Anthopoulos trusting Odorizzi and Odorizzi pitching good for the Braves. It just makes me just think of what if we weren't such fucking idiots up here in Toronto. We had Alex Anthopoulos still as our general manager. I mean, brings the Braves a championship. Okay, we move on to 7:45 p.m. Eastern. The Colorado Rockies at St. Louis Cardinals. Colorado Rockies 51-67, 18-37 on the road. at the St. Louis Cardinals, 64-51, 38-21 at home. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri, and we have a starting pitcher with worse numbers than Jose Barrios. Or sorry, Jose Barrios still has worse numbers than Marquez. My bad. 6'9",
I thought you were gonna say Bouquet.
Oh no! I thought Bouquet had the pretty nice form.
Too. I thought you were gonna say me. I was gonna say, what the hell?
I thought so too, man.
No, I thought he had pretty nice form. Jose, when he's cracking 60 miles. Marquez 6-9, 5.08 ERA, 1.42 WHIP, 127 and 2/3, 104 Ks, 44 walks, 21 home runs. In his last start, 6 innings, 8 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 1 walk, and 8-6 win at home versus Cardinals. And at home's where he's been pitching badly. He's been very good lately. And on the road, he's been good all year long. 4-4, 4.07 ERA, 2.24 opponent's batting average. Going up against Jordan Montgomery, and man, was I wrong. I went and visited Puzzler, and I was telling Puzzler's mom about how wrong I was on thinking that Montgomery would not be able to throw as well after that Yankees start. He looked excellent. I mean, he was so good. 6 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, 8 Ks, 2 walks, and 3-0 win at home versus the Brewers. He's angry. You know, he's got something to prove now that the Yankees don't want him, and he's showing it. The Rockies versus lefties the last 30 days, atrocious. 244, 678 OPS. You guys saw it last night. Cards versus righties, 257, 792 OPS. DJ. She was interested. Puzzler's mom was an equestrian and in dressage, and she was breaking down how she would cap a dressage event, and I loved it. We had a great time. Rockies versus lefties, as I said, 244, 678 OPS. Cards versus righties, 257, 792 OPS. This Rockies bullpen being bad, 4.88 ERA, 1.53 WHIP last 30. Same with the Cards bullpen, 5.34 ERA, 1.28 WHIP, and the over hit in Colorado, St. Louis, I'm sure much to our guy Ski Profit's, excitement. He was on it, and it was against the bullpens. The bullpens are terrible. The first 5 went under. And here you have Marquez and Montgomery, 2 pitchers that are pitching very well. Let's see what we are being offered. Let's take a look at what the weather is. It's 82 Fahrenheit in St. Louis, 7.1 miles per hour in, dies down to 5.1 miles per hour. We have Earl Sports on the Colorado St. Louis first 5 under 3.5. Saturated says they're a dressage show in the future. Let's go over to the line history. I'll have to ask Puzzler's mom if we did one because she's got the insights that we would need to get that cash. We have here St. Louis opening up minus 200, no movement. This total opened up at 7.5, and at 10:22 this morning it moved to 7. That makes sense. So let's see if anything is correlated here with the cash flow. 9,217 tickets in. 14% of the tickets and 51% of the cash is on the Rockies and Marquez. Then 46% of tickets, 75% cash is on the under. Maybe I'm late to the party here. I should have already been on this under. Let's hear what Nolly has to say. Marquez, Montgomery.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of great things there with Marquez. He looked a lot better on the road, and he's done real well against these St. Louis Cardinals. Just pitched against them, going 6 innings, 2 earned runs. And you look 2 starts last year, almost identical, 6 innings, 2 runs, and then 6 innings, 2 runs, but only 1 earned run. So almost every time he's getting 6, he's going 6 and giving 2. But the one red flag that I'll see with Marquez is the fact that he's going on a back-to-back. And looking back at his back-to-backs this season, it seems to be a little wishy-washy. So he gets lit up and then has a little bit better start versus one team. But against the Philadelphia Phillies, pitches well the first game, and then the very next game gets lit up. So that's always a concern for me on back-to-back starts for guys. And so that's where I see a red flag. I think on the other side, I trust Montgomery a little bit more, has yet to face the Colorado Rockies, and a guy that's pitching pretty well. You mentioned the Rockies. Last 5 games have lost all 5 against the left-handed starters. So a team not hitting the lefties that we were accustomed to earlier in the year, and a team really falling apart. So I'd expect Montgomery to have a good start, but I don't think I can trust German Marquez here on a back-to-back and laying that 7, especially with these bullpens. It's going to be a complete pass for me.
Wow, what an interesting breakdown. What an interesting breakdown. So Marquez on the back-to-back against this lineup. That's hitting righties hard, hitting lefties hard, hitting everybody hard. So you are impressed with what he's doing, but historically, it's just a bad spot for him seeing a lineup second straight time.
It's tough, and that's something that I just don't like to always back. There's not every guy can handle that. And German Marquez he's been solid, but he's not completely shut down. And so I think St. Louis can get him for a couple runs. I'm not going to lay 200 with them, but I do see advantage with Montgomery here. But, can he have a good performance? Yeah, you know what I mean. But I'm just not putting my money on it.
Well, and the sharp 70. I just think there's a lot that's helping him in this spot with the wind and we have 54%. 54% of tickets on the over, but 25% of the cash. So we have more tickets have come in on the over, and yet they've dropped it a half run. Let's just see what it would be for me if I wanted to move on that first 5 runs. So you trust Montgomery in this spot, and 3.5 is fucking low. Low. 3.5 is too low. It's just too low, Nolly.
For me it is not for this guy. I like Montgomery. I like him to pitch well, but 2-2 easy could happen.
It could, yeah. All right, I'm gonna just put a bunch of question marks behind it, so I'll look at it a little more. Ricky Bobby says St. Louis team total over.
I just like when I look at this, is like these two matchups or Pablo Lopez Clevenger. Any day I'm taking Pablo Lopez Clevenger.
Wow.
Just me.
Well, you know what? And at what point do you trust the brass of these teams? Like, I don't trust the Blue Jays brass at all. And maybe Millsy doesn't trust the Yankees brass after getting rid of Montgomery. But there's a reason why they didn't want Montgomery in the postseason. And do you trust it is the question. TJ says going with St. Louis to score first. If you get through the top of Colorado offense in the first, you have 3 innings to get a run from St. Louis. No, Ronnie, our guy Trenton Claxton was on overs in both those WNBA games. Jamal Martin's on the Goldschmidt prop at plus 350. Okay. All right. Dizzy Rothstein says hard to lay 200 with such a low total. Okay, we move on. 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Oakland Athletics 42-75, 25-37 on the road at the Texas Rangers 52-64, 26-33 at home. We're at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas, and the roof will be on. I was thinking today because so you guys know that I thought Cole Ragans was going to have a great start in his first start, and I cashed with him. We stayed off him in his second start. It was a 7-3 loss at the Astros. 4 1/3, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 homers, 1 K, 3 walks. A 30th overall pick out of North Florida Christian High School in Tallahassee. He started the year in AA Frisco with the Rough Riders, and he pitched very well. He moved up to AAA Round Rock. So 10 starts with Frisco, 8 starts with Round Rock, and he pitched very well again. He's just a good pitcher. He's a good young pitcher. He was all excited in his first start, shut down the opposition. Then he went into Houston against those bullies, and he got hit. Now he faces the Oakland A's at home again. My first instinct, because I like the kid, was that he's going to pitch well. The A's versus lefties, 222 batting average, 640 OPS over the last 30 days. But I went to look at all the important factors, that I need kind of to be correlated to make a bet. First off, was the market moving towards the Rangers? It wasn't. There was a 10-cent move to the A's. It's come back 5 cents since I looked. So at 8:14 a.m., which was after I decided not to move on it. So a 5-cent move to the A's. From a total perspective, were they expecting nice pitching performances from these two guys? Total went from 8.5 to 9. So it's not correlating. But then the main thing was that all the sharp cash was on the A's. Now it's come back. So this morning, 50% of the cash was on the A's, even more, like a little over 50, but only like 18 or 20% of the tickets. Right now, there's 23% of the tickets and 33% of the cash. So money's coming back in on the Rangers. And then, but when I saw the 50%, I was like, God, it feels like every time I look at Oakland A's, where the ticket count is, it feels like sharp money's on the Oakland A's. And it's like, is this the Cleveland Browns from 3 years ago where the sharps were on the Browns every fucking game, and they kept losing. It's different because look at the A's. They're 25-37 on the road. If you bet on the A's, if you put $100 on the A's in every single road game, you'd be laughing. Well, I don't know how much you'd be laughing, but you'd be up. Okay, so with all that being said, how do you trust Adam Oller? Well, he had 3 starts against the Astros, and he looked much better than we expected. And even in that last one, it was a 7-5 loss at the Astros, but it wasn't on Oller. He went 4 2/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 Ks, 3 walks. Does have a 7.26 ERA, 1.78 WHIP, but he's better than those numbers indicate if you can pitch against the Astros 3 times in 5 starts and hold your own. So with all that being said, I expected to bet on the Rangers. I don't plan to now, but let's hear what Nolly Knows has to say. A's, Rangers, take it away.
Interesting guys here. Adam Oller, the guy that they got for Chris Bassett, a guy that kind of two organizations gave up on him originally. He was drafted in the first round. Pirates completely gave up on him. First time he's seen some high minor league ball with the Mets. He ends up being their pitcher of the year, and then they ship him out. I think they got a pretty good return on that. But Adam Oller expected to be much better than what he's performed against some of these teams. He got hit against San Francisco, giving up 4 runs on 8 hits. Against the White Sox, giving up 4 runs on 7 hits. But you mentioned doing real well against Houston multiple times. One concern, though, against Texas earlier this year, got lit up as well. 5 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 home runs in that span. And these Rangers are hitting pretty good right now. Over the last 7 days, averaging 4 runs, hitting 280 over the last 7 games. So bit of a concern going against this team. Does he have a bounce back? Hard for me to trust the guy. You know, nothing really overpowering from him. About average grade on everything he's got. His fastball, slider, changeup. So he's got the 3 pitches. He's got decent control, but a guy that's got to be crafty. Not really a guy that I'm looking to back. Other side, Cole Reagans made comparisons to Cole Hamels because he's a lefty, because he's 6'4", because he's got a dominant changeup. He's got a really good changeup, better control. This guy's actually a little more highly touted than on the other side. He got a little bit better pitching repertoire that I would like to see, and I like Reagans a little bit more, especially going against these Oakland A's. Oakland A's over the last 7 days, not hitting. Nothing that's surprising here. 213 batting average, 218 batting average, 2.7 runs in that span, and really not hitting the ball like they haven't all year long. But me personally, I'm not going to be trusting these youngsters. Got a lot of action elsewhere, but that's my opinion there. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a good breakdown. Anybody who can face the Astros 3 times in 5 starts and hold your own, I think will improve as the season goes on. It's easy to say when you have a guy with a 7.26 ERA and a 1.78 WHIP. And then I'm expecting Cole Reagans to look good here, but the total's gone from 8.5 to 9, and there's sharp money on the A's, and you put that all together, and I don't want to be involved. Sharon in the house, great to see you, my guy. Let's keep working. Next up, 8:10 p.m. Eastern, the Houston Astros, 75-43, 36-25 on the road at the Chicago White Sox, 61-56, 30-29 at home. Guaranteed rate field in Chicago, Illinois, and here come the White Sox. Let's see what the weather is in the south side. 74 Fahrenheit, 7.8 miles per hour left to right. Dies down to 5.8, stays left to right. Let's move over to the line history in this White Sox-Astros spot. And I'm sure this was a confidence-building series so far. The White Sox open up as plus 125 dogs and no movement. A ton of movement on the total, but 5-cent increments just so not it keeps changing. It's changed 9 times, but it's only really a 5-cent move to the under. And then, so a 5-cent move to the under and no movement on the side. Let's take a look and see what we're dealing with. 8,284 tickets in. 80% of the tickets and 92% of the cash on the Houston Astros, and the market not moving towards them. 40% of the tickets, 66% of the cash on the under. Wow. Very interesting. Framber Valdez, his last start, win at home versus the Rangers, was very good. 7 innings, no earned runs, 8 Ks, 1 walk. On the road, he's 7-2 with a 2.21 ERA, 185 opponents batting average. Excellent. Kopech, we thought, might be dealing with some arm fatigue, and he completely shut down the Tigers in his last start. Now the Tigers are poor, but he shut them down. 6 innings, 11 Ks, and 3 walks. At home, 1-4, 2.81 ERA, 148 opponent's batting average. Astros last 30 are not hitting. 240, 674 OPS versus righties. White Sox versus lefties, not hitting at all. 233, 648 OPS. Billy Friedrich says White Sox saw Valdez already this season. 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. That was when they were hitting lefties. Now they're not. Astros bullpen being bad of late. Last 30, 3.89 ERA, 1.30 whip. Same with the White Sox. 4 ERA, 1.36 whip. So all of this to me screams that the under is in play, but I don't want to mess with this bullpen. So I think that both Valdez and Kopech will have nice starts. So why not move on the first 5 under? Should I add that to my card? Nolly, what's your plan here? Astros, White Sox.
I mean, Kopech looking really good last time out, not giving up any hits, getting pulled after 6 innings, had about 85 pitches. White Sox fans not happy at all about that. Fire Tony chants being heard when that happened. And then especially Baez gets a hit to start off the 7th inning, even louder, So I can understand that, but they're trying to hold on to Kopech. He's gone way over his limit. Not necessarily a limit, but way over his innings pitched this season. And so they're trying to control that. And I can understand that for some. But with Kopech, I mean, the thing here, even for Valdez, pitching well over the last 3 starts with a 2.66 ERA. But the problem is the familiarity. You look at Valdez second time around here, gave up 3 earned runs last time out. Kopech got touched up a little bit against Houston last time, giving up 4 earned runs, 7 hits. And that's something that I've seen from Kopech over the course of this season. He'll be completely dominant, and then he'll give up a 6-4 run spot. So hard for me to continue to trust Kopech. A game like the Cleveland game, I'm looking at this game as a live betting opportunity. If I get anything over the original total, hopefully 2 runs, I'll be betting it live. But originally full game right now, I need to see what these pitchers are going to do here against a familiar opponent.
Yeah, the full game makes me nervous. And I know that Kopech's been dealing with injuries and dealing with issues, and it's mentioned here from Billy, says playing through a significant leg injury, in my opinion. Says he's lost some velocity, but he is from Texas as well. The 4 is at plus 105. Damn, let's see what Pinnacle's got. I bet you they're hanging a 4.5 at a decent price. Let me just see what it is. This at Penny first 5, 4.5 at minus 123. 4 here at plus 105 for me. What is the edge for top set? The only edge that I see here, and I think this is a legitimate edge, is that the Astros aren't hitting righties and the White Sox aren't hitting lefties. And I expect both pitchers to pitch well. Now, they both didn't allow a run in their last start. But look at these last 2 starts combined with these guys. 13 innings, 4 hits allowed, 19 strikeouts and 4 walks. Maybe you could say, well, that's probably too good of a performance, and there could be a zigzag spot in play. But I don't believe that's the case, and I think the issue is solely on the bullpens. Now, this deep into a series, the opposition is familiar with. So I'm going to move on the first 5 under as my second spot on this card. All right, we move on. 8:10 p.m. Eastern. I agree. Bullpens are vulnerable. I'm going to stick with the first 5. I can't wait to talk about this game. We hit the 3rd spot on today's card with a team with full line value, according to Sports Insights, and that be the Milwaukee Brewers. LA Dodgers 80-35, 40 and 80-35. God damn it. 55 games over 500. Holy shit. 40-20 on the road. So they're 40-15 at home. You look at these, they have so many players that aren't really playing well. I mean, look at Muncy and Turner and Bellinger. And they're this unbelievably dominant. Wow. Brewers 62-53, 30-23 at home. We're at American Family Field in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. take a look at the weather in Milwaukee. 73 Fahrenheit, 3.1 miles per hour in. Nice weather for baseball. Let's take a look at the line history here. Move over here. And Gonsolin versus Lauer. There's been a 10-cent move to the Dodgers. 10-cent move to the Dodgers. Take a look at the total. 5-cent move to the over. So a 10-cent move to the Dodgers, a 5-cent move to the over. 10-cent Dodgers, 5-cent over. Let's see if the cash flow correlates with that. 11,449 tickets in. 15% of the tickets, 32% of the cash on the Brewers. 40% of the tickets, 89% of cash on the under. 89% of cash on the under. Wow. Gonsolin, 14-1, 2.24 ERA, 0.89 whip, 116 and third, 105 Ks, 32 walks, 11 home runs. He's been spectacular. His last start, 6 2/3, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 3 Ks, 3 walks, and 3 win at the Royals. On the road, though, being a little worse than he's been at home. A little worse is still 6-0, 2.98 ERA, 197 opponent's batting average. Eric Lauer on the other side, 8-4, 3.64 ERA, 1.21 whip, 118 and 2/3, 116 Ks, 42 walks, and 22 home runs allowed. A lot of home runs allowed, but he's been good. Coming off a 3-1 loss to the Cardinals, he went 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 2 homers, 5 Ks, 2 walks. At home, he is better, quite a bit better than he is on the road. And that last loss was at St. Louis. I think he's pitching really well right now. At home, 4-1, 2.65 ERA, 230 opponent's batting average. Dodgers are hitting 273, 833 OPS versus lefties, and the Brewers are hitting 262, 840 OPS versus righties. I mean, these two teams are smashing. Dodgers bullpen lights out last 30, 2.59 ERA, 0.97 whip. The Brewers bullpen been disappointing. 4.20 ERA, 1.20 whip. B-Lab, who has been tracking the full line value bets at Sports Insights that are available during our show, because you can track them not as well as B-Lab tracks them. He tracks them with all ROI, average line. He does such a great job with it. But you can track them their best bets over at Sports Insights, but we do. I love what we're doing with it, and it's all because of you, B-Lab. So thank you from all of us. That you're just another giant asset for us. Let's go. Why don't we bring? We've lost Nolly for a minute. Let's bring Jose into this spot. Dodgers Brewers. For me, Jose, these offenses are firing on all cylinders, and these pitchers are very good. And when you put that together, I don't see an edge or an angle that I think I can make money off of. What do you think here? We'll bring Nolly back in as well. But let's talk to Jose Bouquet first. Dodgers, Brewers.
Well, Nolly hates when I talk about Tony Gonsolin because I'm just the number one preeminent Tony Gonsolin hater, I guess. His last 2 starts were really good. One against the Royals, I bet against them. Stupid bet. The Royals are not a good hitting ball club. The one before that, another stupid bet by me versus the Padres, the first home game after Vin Scully's death. So bad ball there, but I think the Brewers are good enough to take advantage of them here. I mean, I don't know. How many times am I gonna have to learn this lesson? Is that what it feels like? It feels like that SpongeBob drop. You guys don't know what that means, but ultimately, my side would be the Brewers here for sure. I'd take the Brewers here in some form or fashion. I probably will end up on them for sure. I just have to do some last capping on it. But yeah, I like the Brewers today.
Liking the Brewers. There is sharp action on the Brewers. Let's hear what Nolly has to say about this spot. Dodgers Brewers.
See, you start talking good about the Dodgers, and then Jose just boots me off, but it's all right. It's no, but yeah, Jose, I did. Yeah, I told you I'm keeping records of those, because I completely disagree with Tony Gonsolin. Tony Gonsolin, what he's done, I mean, being as dominant as he is, a bit of a surprise, but the success is no surprise at all for the Dodgers organization. Pitcher of the year for us, and the way that they've used him, they've been careful with him. Similar to how they've used Urias in the past, and then finally unleash him. And a guy that's very, very diligent about his craft, a guy that worked harder than most guys. Listening to some quotes from Trey Turner, he talks about it, how a guy was always working in between innings, whether it's on the field, whether it's in the lab, dissect the lineup and working in his bullpen, a guy that cares a lot about what he's doing. So no surprise from the success that he's had. And honestly, I don't expect anything different facing a Milwaukee team that he's yet to face in his career. So I'd expect him to have some success. I think on the other side, Eric Lauer is the more question mark, a guy that he does pitch well, a guy that I like to back a lot, and a guy that he's been great at home, 2.65 ERA, last 3 games has looked really good, really turning it on. And I mean, earlier in the year, the strikeouts were kind of surprising. I didn't really understand that. Those were little outliers. But a guy that has pitched well, but has been touched up from the Dodgers in the past. Last start, going back to last year, 1 good and 1 bad. The bad coming on the road, giving up 5 earned runs. But at home, 0 earned runs and 4 hits. Dodgers last 3 games been slowing down a bit. But still, I definitely going to trust the Dodgers lineup. Look what they've done over the last week, as opposed to the Milwaukee Brewers hitting 178 over the last 7 days, a 300 slugging and a 247 on base percentage. I mean, yeah, I'm a Dodger fan, but I'm not betting those numbers. Simple as that. And Tony Gonsolin, say what you will, I see another strong performance.
Smells like an under.
Yeah, potential. I like Lauer. If you look at the Dodgers 60% to the under on the road, and something that people really don't think of with the amount of runs that they produce.
Yeah, it doesn't all correlate for me. I understand the last 7 days of the Brew Crew for their offense, but the last 30 days, they're hitting as hard as any team in the league. And then again, it goes down to what numbers do you want to trust, and you can make a legitimate point to the 7. You can make a legitimate point to the 30. Eric Jones says over 8 also, but Coin says feels like an under 8 spot. John Todd says under is the play. Okay, so and no Springer in the lineup for Toronto today. Mike M letting us know, and Mike M says I think if you wait for the Dodgers to go down a run or two, then smash a live Dodger spot. Hard to know if there's going to be a spot where the Dodgers are down. It's not a confident thing. And there's our guy Puzzler in the house. Great to see you, Puzzler, my guy. He says we're lucky to have Nolly.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
I love Puzzler. Okay, 9:45 p.m. Eastern, final game on the card. The Arizona Diamondbacks 53-63, 21-34 on the road at the San Francisco Giants 59-57, 34-27 at home. Jose, were you going to make that an official pick on the Brew Crew? My bad, I didn't go back to you. Is that?
Oh, he has to.
Well, Nolly wants. I feel like Nolly's trying to bet me into a stake bet here, and it's successfully working. I'll take the straight up stake bet again. I did this with Aaron Judge and the Kansas City Royals. We lost 1-0. I'll take the stake bet, and I'll trust my guys at Sports Insights.
Are we doing first 5 or full game or what?
Full game. We'll take
full game. Okay.
My God. Oh no!
All right, let's do it. It's in. How do we lock it in? I mean, how do we do this?
It's locked in.
All right.
He pays his stake bets up. Stake bets up.
Yeah, no doubt. Likewise.
I enjoyed a delicious steak at a Brazilian restaurant. Yep. It was very, very tasty. So
0-2 in my last 2 bets against Tony Gonsolin. So what could possibly go wrong?
When it comes to steak, he's an accountable young man.
Everybody in the audience, now listen to me carefully, is being given a special package, and I don't want you to open it. Do not open it. Cameras are on you, so do not open until I tell you. All right, open your boxes. Open your boxes. 1, 2, 3.
You get a steak. 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 Everybody gets a steak.
Steak bet is on. Final game on the card, Diamondbacks, Giants, Oracle Park, San Francisco, California. I was afraid with all the sharp action on the Giants, but I don't know why. Junis just messes with me. But if there's sharp action on the Giants, we know that Merle Kelly's a great pitcher. You're in a pitcher's ballpark. Why was I not on the first 5 under? I don't know. The day should have been even better than it was. Here we have Zach Davies going up against Carlos Rodon. Zach Davies in his last start, 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 Ks, 2 walks, and a 5-3 loss at the Cardinals. On the road, he's 1-3 with a 5 ERA, 2.22 opponents batting average. Was it really at the Cards? Why do I think that start was against the Rockies? Sorry, I just don't want to be sitting here giving a. I'm almost certain that was the.
Yeah, back to
It
back
was.
versus Rockies.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I don't know why I wrote down cards there. That was the spot where our Hunter Engelhart went no run first inning in that game at plus 143, as well as the first 5 under. I believe it was 6.5. It was 3-3, so it wasn't an easy cash on the first 5 under, but it was excellent work in that one. And you know what he said, Nolly, and this is interesting. This is when you know a guy really knows what he's doing. He broke down the market in it, and he broke down where the team totals were and the juice on them. And he said the books have no idea what's going to happen here. Not a fucking clue what's going to happen here. And that's what he was saying. That's what gave him confidence. And I was like, God, that's an angle that we don't use very much, where we see the numbers and say, oh, the books have no idea what's going to happen here. Do you ever see spots on the board where you're like, well, this doesn't make sense? The books just don't know what's going to happen.
I don't try to look at that personally, I get mentally off the game, I just try to stick to what I do and not try to let some of those things affect me. But I've had guys mention that to me when they reference the team totals. So I've heard other guys mention that. So I've heard that strategy in like football as well. Like something just doesn't make sense. It's not adding up, and especially the way that they're juiced a certain way. But I mean, those are guys that are looking at that stuff and they're seeing the number, and based on the number, you're going to know whether or not this is the right side or wrong. And I've seen it happen, but me personally, I don't.
Yeah, and again, one of the things that was one of the keys to him was that the team totals were so highly juiced that it was as if the books just didn't want action on the total. It was like, we prefer not for you guys not to bet this year.
Just don't bet the game.
That was the sign for him, and he used it to his advantage. Let's talk about his Davies Rodon spot. Davies has not been good on the road this year. 1-3, 5 ERA, 2.22 opponents batting average, and Carlos Rodon has been unbelievably good at home. 6-1, 1.89 ERA, 2.19 opponents batting average. Coming off a 5-3 win at home versus the Pirates, where he allowed 2 earned runs. They were solo shots. Diamondbacks versus lefties last 30, 231, 678 OPS. Giants versus righties, 218, 670 OPS. Both teams struggling. The Diamondbacks bullpen has been really good the last 30 days. 3.07 ERA, 1.13 whip, while the Giants bullpen's been atrocious. 5.45 ERA, 1.50 whip. We will start with the weather. This is the final game on the card, 59 Fahrenheit, 9.3 miles per hour out, dies down to 7.6. It's usually it's usually windier in Oracle, so that's not a lot of wind for that stadium, and it is pitcher's ballpark. When we go to the line history here, we have a 20-cent move to the San Francisco Giants, and opened up at 7.5, heavily juiced to the under. Dropped to 7, got back up to 7.5, and is now exactly where it opened. Oh, no, excuse me. It's back at 7. Excuse me. Sorry. So it's at 7 minus 125 to the over. 7. So it's dropped a half run, but basically it's the same. 7.5 minus 125 to the under, or 7 minus 125 to the over. Let's go over to the cash in this final game here. We have 40% line value on the Arizona Diamondbacks, 12% of the tickets, and 32% of the cash. Then we have 58% of the tickets, 92% of the cash on that under. Interesting. Is this another first 5 under? Might be. Let's hear what Nolly has to say. Diamondbacks, Giants.
Kind of tough. I love the weather. That's something I mentioned. Weather incorporated with the ballpark, always a great thing in San Francisco. Yesterday, easy casher had the under 8 full game. And so, I mean, I look to maybe go back there again, but am I going to be able to trust both these pitchers going against familiar opponents? Carlos Rodon getting touched up by Arizona twice this season, giving up 4 earned runs on 5 hits, and the other time giving up 5 earned runs on just 3 hits, the walks getting to him, and the home run. Did have 10 strikeouts and 7 the previous time, but did give up the runs. You did mention he does feel more comfortable at home, more of a pitcher's ballpark, but still ultimately a team that's familiar with them. So am I going to trust them to be dominant again? With that 3.5, we're going to need it. And Davies, a guy, he's been a bit of a roller coaster. He can have a good performance, but you still look at that game in Colorado. You cash under the first 5 under, but he gives up 3 earned runs because you're getting those extra runs in Colorado. So, I mean, a great call by Hunter there in that spot. But here at 3.5 in San Francisco, I just don't know if I can trust it. 2 starts against San Francisco last year, Davies got touched up. 2 innings, 5 earned runs, 4 1/3, 4 earned runs. I understand this is not the exact same San Francisco team, not hitting the same way as they were last year, but over the last 7 days have been producing 4.9 runs per game, 263 batting average, and a 461 slugging. So San Francisco hitting a lot better than they have as of late, earlier in the season, and I expect them to continue to roll with their bats. The Diamondbacks are 5-0 to the under the last 5 games. Maybe that's why you see all this trend to the under, but I just can't take that low number with what I see, the red flags.
Legitimate red flags. This became an extremely difficult card, and I probably should have known that when the 2 spots that I liked, just purely from a analysis of the matchups, did not correlate with where the action was, so I stayed off. And now I've only got 2 spots, but I'm gonna not panic and trust it after a 5-0 day. Let's review all action here on the show. Nolly gets his card started with Ian Happ over 1.5 bases at plus 125. And same with North Ender. Look at that. 8 MLB bets yesterday, 3 today. Well, yeah, you just got to remember to take, what the league gives you. Although looking back at this now, the sharp action on the Reds. Remember, all the money was on the over, and yet they moved it to the under, and now we're in the bottom of the 3rd and scoreless game. Probably should have trusted that a little bit more. Probably should have trusted that. Happ over 1.5 bases for Nolly. Then he's on the first 5 under 4.5 in the Royals Twinkies. First 5 under 4.5 in the Royals Twinkies, and so is the pimp slap play of the day on that first 5 under 4.5, and that's 0-0 with 2 out in the bottom of the 1st. MDR said, difficult card. I agree, Jimmy. I like the card's first 5 run line, and I think Joe Yurkovich is on it. If you're with Joe, that's good company. Good company. Okay, so Nolly's on the Orioles Blue Jays under 8.5 at plus 104. The Voth Stripling start. I'd like just to go back and look at that once more, where the cash lies in that game now. In the Toronto one, 14,160 tickets in, 54% of tickets, 51% of cash. Okay, stay away. Mariners, Angels, we have stayed away, and Nolly may make an appearance at Angel Stadium today. Is that possible?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get the okay to take my son out of school early.
Oh, that's dope, man. Yeah, because you'll get the $3 tickets and then move down.
Oh, I don't know about that. But maybe a little bit more than that. But I mean, I was gonna try to take advantage and sit as close as I can,
because that's what Wine Time's doing. Wine Time gets the $3 tickets and then moves down to behind the bullpen, or the bullpen. I think that's right. I forget now. But okay, let's keep rolling. So Nolly's also on the under 3.5 at minus 107 in San Diego, Miami, and I've got no afternoon action. We moved to Boston, Pittsburgh. We are off. By the way, Dommy Gun's on that under 8.5 with the Philly game. Great job. He's on the under 8.5 in the Yankees game, and he's on the Mets run line. Lamont Williams also on that Mets run line, and Dommy's also on the dugout. Wine Time says the dugout. So yeah, he gets the $3 tickets and he goes down behind the dugout. Toronto minus 1.5 at plus 120. Nolly's on the under 8.5 in the Rays Yankees game. So Nolly and Dom each on that under 8.5. The Kluber versus Herman start. My card starts with the first 5 under 4 in Detroit, Cleveland. Norris Quantrill. Nolly's on the under 7.5 at minus 108 in Mets Braves. That's Scherzer Odorizzi. Sorry, let me just move that over. I think I kind of messed that up. Got it cut. Get that right here. Perfect. Okay. And then I have some interest in the under 3.5 in Marquez Montgomery. There's a bunch of question marks there, and Nolly talked me off of it. A's, Rangers, we stayed off. And then my second bet, first 5 under 4 in Astros, White Sox. Framber Valdez versus Kopech. Oh, no, 2-0 Twins. 2-run shot. Damn. And then we have nothing in Dodgers, Brewers, and nothing in Diamondbacks, Giants. Is there anything you wanted to add to your card, Nolly?
No, not especially after that, man. Damn.
All right.
I had him 1-2, man.
Ugh, yeah, that hurts.
But no, we're still good. I'm not worried about it. We got a lot of action today, and with that extra with the player prop as well. So a lot out there, and leaving room for some live action. Detroit Tigers game possible there, and the Houston White Sox live.
I love it. Nolly, it is a treat to have you back in action with us. It's been over a month. We haven't had you since July 13th.
man.
Too long. So too long. Please come back soon. We'll figure out when we can have you back. I won't put you on the spot here like I usually do to pressure you into being on. I know you're very busy right now, but
yeah, you're good. You're good at that. Yeah.
let's talk though. I'd really like to get you back as soon as possible. So
Yeah,
thank
definitely.
you so much. Follow our man Nolly on Twitter at Nolly knows, and the man does know. He does know. Also, we talked off the top of the show. Huge things going on at Pub. The most important things is our contest. We have a cappers contest, $100 to enter, and we're all going up against each other. And Jose and I will host a show together on Thursdays where we break down who's succeeding in the cappers contest, and we also make our move in the Circa Millions. In the Circa Millions, Slaughter's getting us a $1,500 entry that we will discuss together as a group as to what our 5 picks should be each week on that Thursday show. And then we'll send our action in. So that, and then we also have the Survivor contest, the Survivor $100 entry for Survivor as well. We will be discussing the Survivor. Slatsy and I each won our Survivor pool 2 years ago and got all that cash. So that's Rant says Dan's $1,500. Not our pool. Our pool is $100. Our contest $100, but the Circa Millions is $1,500 that Slaughter's entering us in.
$100 each, by the way. I saw some questions if it was 100 for both, $100 for each competition.
Yep, 100. Yeah, good call. 100 for each, and then we are going live betting throughout the entire football season, and we'll probably keep doing it because I think it'll be a great success. And we get started 10 days from now. Dabby Cab will be hosting our first live football game, and that will be on Saturday, August 27th, the first Saturday of NCAA football. That will be right on the heels of our NCAA Pub Hub. NCAA Pub Hub. Oh, spreadsheet play of the day is in. Wow, just under the wire. Ron Crawford comes in with the spreadsheet play of the day. -1. St. Louis -1. Thank you, Ron. Just gets it in the nick of time. Let's pop that in here. St. Louis Cardinals -1. Backing Montgomery against Herman Marquez. A big shout out to all you guys. So don't forget, our first football show is this Monday. Beat the Books. Monday, starring C-Mac.
Hitting the books.
Sorry?
Hitting the books.
Hitting the books. Shit. And beat them too. But Hitting the Books is this Monday with C-Mac and Babano this Monday, and we're going to be rolling. And Ron Crawford says, I tell you every day, so just check my Twitter. Okay, cool. Much love. I will do that. And thank you, Ron, my guy. All right. Thank you guys. All you guys. Lamont Williams, Rance, Chairman Kim, Ron Crawford, MDR24, Rob Free says, I've never seen so many box called this year. Sanka, Puzzler, Mike M, North Ender, Jimmy Gomez, Wine Time Sports, Alex Gagnon, Vipe, Bananas and Grapes, all you guys, Johnny Gunn, Sanka, Ronnie and Bergia, Ray, Matt Pollins, Eric Jones, the Chameleon, Professor Chris, all you guys, John Todd, Trampolium, thank you guys, Chief, the Chameleon, thank you guys all for your support. Nolly, any last words for the chat? And then can you please leche us into the future?
I just want to thank everybody for hanging out, putting up with our antics, and hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you grabbed something, whether you agree or disagree. But thank you for showing up. And always, leche a los bookmakers.